Joined the team. Like, we didn't know anybody. We didn't know what was going on. We just joined the team. We got on there. We got to the field. We met Dewan 3D Mitchell. Bring me in. Here we go.
My mama bring me in. Damn lifesaver.
Lifesaver. 29-2 as a commander, 30-1 as an XO.
I guess we can keep it at a minimum.
Right. Yeah, not a problem.
There's his name. Sweetest of dicks. That is his name.
That is a lot.
It's still up.
Take that off the screen, buddy. What's up, everybody? Another Friday here. I know we missed last week, man. I appreciate these two gentlemen below me, which we will introduce in a second. For everybody rocking with us last week, as everybody, for the people who know, family had an emergency going on, so I had to go and take care of that. My little brother lost his mother last week, so we took a week off for that. That being said, everything is fine. He's doing good. The family is, it's getting back to normal. But let's get back to business, right?
Yep.
So below us, we got two gentlemen that I would consider myself personally an honor to have met and know now. I'm going to call them both prop masters. As this show goes on, you're going to find out why. Directly below me, we got Burke Harris. Directly below Mike, we got Eli Booth. So I'm going to start with you, Burke. Burke, go ahead and let everybody know who you are, where you're from, the team you with, everything like that.
Well, my name is Burke Harris. I'm originally from Virginia, but I live in Austin, Texas now, and I'm a member of the Texas Night Stalkers. Call sign Bad Wolf. We go by call signs here, and I'm one of the producers, and the whole team produced the Team Texas Revolution Paintball Series that recently had our first event here in Austin, Texas, more specifically Jonestown, at Texas Paintball back in mid-January, and we have another one coming up the same weekend next January as well.
Okay. Eli, you the man. It's your world.
Hey, what's up? Hey, Eli Booth. I run Big Bang Paintball. I have a couple co-producers that work with me, but I do the majority of the prop work and prop ideas. I've been doing really my entry into scenario paintball in the production side started at the end of 2017. I attended a scenario that was really half-assed put together in Arizona, and I thought I could do better. And so I put together a team, and about a month before my wife was due with twins, we ran Reclamation 1. We had 100 players, something like that. And then just kind of blew up from there. So, yeah, I've been running events since then, and it's been a lot of work and a lot of fun.
Yeah, that's dope. Like I said, man, I can't. So Reclamation is out. You said you're doing that out of your field, right? Because that is your field, right?
So, no, it's not my field. So
Okay,
I don't own a field.
Okay.
I just have a really good brand. I play off of Big Bang Paintball.
Okay.
But no, the events ran at BKW. Pretty much.
Oh, that's what I was confused with. Okay, gotcha.
Right.
The brand.
Yeah, BKW Paintball. They own a field, a pretty well-developed field in near Tucson, so just 2 hours south of Phoenix.
Okay. All right. What do you say? So, got a couple comments that I want to laugh about here. So this is to you, Burke. Alan says, "Haha, next January they don't know what they're in for. Yankee invasion."
Nice.
And also, my little brother said, "Prayers for Texas, of course."
Yeah, I tell you, I got lucky. Where I'm at, I didn't lose power or water. I think I might be on some sort of essential grid with a local EMS or something like that, because I was very fortunate and I didn't go down in power or water during this whole thing. But I know a lot of people who did, and I lent a hand where I could with chainsaw, cutting trees, and helping people with a bit that I know about plumbing and so on and so forth to fix things. I had a lot of busted pipes, and offered my room out to people, but everybody's pretty self-reliant here, so they were able to make do without until their power came back on. But it's been something apocalyptic out here compared to what we're used to.
I know, right? I mean,
We'll
you know,
take
just
hurricanes all day long, 15-degree heat, but then you hit us with
a little dusting, man.
freezing temperatures for 7 days, and we start to try and unravel what it seems.
Right.
I don't know. I don't know what we'd do in Arizona if that hit us. That would be pretty bad.
I mean, we may do. It was just the essential services were down, so it just became neighbor helping neighbor because there was no services available. I mean, everybody had to kind of just whatever you had to share. But we got by pretty good. We had a big event coming up here this weekend that got canceled, so it's been moved down the road 2 weeks. But we're looking forward to getting back out on the field once things get back to normal.
Okay. I mean, I hope so. Get back north for y'all because, like I said, this weekend, it was a triple threat down there. It was a big deal.
Yeah.
Yeah. I see. He said he pushed it out for a week, right? I think right now.
2 weeks.
2 weeks. Okay. Yeah, I thought I saw a post about
6th and 7th, I think.
Didn't they combine events? Some event was supposed to be held at the same time 2 weeks from now. I thought I saw that on Viper's page.
I'm not sure. I have not heard that. If that's I think what you're referring to is he offered anybody that could not make the rescheduled event an opportunity to be just roll over into the next event, which is in April, I think.
Got it.
That might be what you're thinking of, but we're all going. I believe my teams are able to make it. We were even able to reschedule our Airbnb, luckily, so we'll be right there. So we're good to go.
Nice.
Okay. Well, let's talk about a little bit of what we're here for, man. You guys in your prop making capabilities, right? So I heard the props that I saw at Texas Revolution, that is all you, right? For the most part. We had a pretty big team effort to put that on. I mean, that game was produced by our team, ref by our team. Nobody, we put personal money into it and got reimbursed, but other than that, it's team funds and goes towards the next one. Okay. My focus was the props. A few other people built props as well, or procured props, whether it be like a dummy or something, like a mannequin that we needed to dress in some form. We had Zombie that was on your show several weeks ago. Tuned in. He built a couple of props, one of which was that gigantic SAM launcher. I don't know if you guys have a picture of that one, but
that was pretty cool.
Yeah, that one was that was on him, and then a couple other guys got props together, and I built some of the ones that have more of the working electronics and the crazy high stress.
We gonna get into that. Get into that.
That stuff.
Okay, and then Eli, I hear that you are 3D printing props now.
Okay. Well, so yeah, I mean, just little stuff. I 3D printed. So we're using my event's a sci-fi themed event. So the helicopter mechanic we're using is drop ships. So I just made 2 big ass drop ships, as big as the printers could fit. It still isn't big enough, but it's gonna have to do because it took 60 hours to print each one.
Now that shit is. I'm sorry. Listen, because I got one too. I probably don't have what you have, and I know because I heard from TV that you were doing it. I know I don't have what TV has. I know I don't.
So I was joking with a buddy. So I printed those, but we're also the little Among Us characters. We just call them susses. I ended up printing a shit ton of those, 30 at a time. And so I have a couple 3D printers running constantly, churning out Among Us characters. It's stupid, but people love to have artifacts. They love to have trinkets that they get at events. So there you go.
Go ahead.
Is that part of the scenario? The little characters.
So it's not a scoring part of the scenario. So the event, I could get into it, so I won't. But the event, the missions have their own focus. Mm-hmm. But we have a couple guys that like to run around as NPCs, ham it up. So they didn't allow melee action at the field, which I don't blame any field for that. So we have both of them running around challenging players to or letting the players challenge them to dumb stuff like rock, paper, scissors, tic-tac-toe, just dumb games that they can beat them real quick. And the players that win get a gold coin that they can then take back to base and buy a sus or open up a treasure box and get patches or whatever crap we throw in there.
That's a dope concept. So, because I'm one of the guys, right, that I like the props that what I'm saying. I appreciate the work that you guys put into prop making, right? That's the first thing. Now, some of the props I understand are I need those back. You know what I'm saying? That carries over. But then the stuff that you can do, that you can give to a person that actually finds it, wins it, to your point, earns it, whatever the case may be, that's that much. It makes it that much better for that player because it's something they can remember that game about. They got something now that they look at that. I mean, because a lot of us don't win awards. You know what I'm saying? So it's something we can look at and take home and be like, I played that event. That's how I feel about it.
Like the lanyards and stuff.
Right,
Yeah.
like the lanyards. Yeah.
Yep. So that's kind of the idea behind it is they get to keep them if they buy them with a gold coin. Now the gold coin is our currency. I mean, that's literally the currency is just there to buy these sauces or stickers or whatever. It's really random. But there's enough colors that there should be enough people that if they want to collect every one, they could just go up and challenge the treasure golem. And literally, I just call him the treasure golem. I don't have a better name. I just think of Diablo, the treasure guy running around getting beat up. And that's kind of what I have in mind with our guys. So
I like it.
We have real missions that have, more meaningful stuff, but that's the fun aspect.
So your game is in Arizona, is that correct?
Yeah, yep.
Okay.
It's just a single day event, so I don't really get on and advertise, but it's been going on for long enough. We have players that word of mouth over the last 3 years have really spread the word. Literally every single field in Arizona has people that are hyping the event.
Nice.
Whether we live up to the hype or not, that's another question.
I mean, we working on reclamation number 4, so
well, you never know. Some of the missions always, you spend a lot of time on missions and sometimes they fall flat. You spend a lot of time on like these kind of ideas and sometimes they fall flat, especially in the later afternoon of the day. But it's a big game. Arizona doesn't have anything else. They haven't for years until I stepped up to the scene. So a lot of people seem to be pretty happy with that.
Awesome. So how and tell me if you want to take back over on this. I'm just asking
no. Go. Like I told you in the back there. Go. Do your thing,
so,
man. This is a show about y'all. Go.
You do it one day. We're doing it one day in June 12th. And I was just curious if you run one day, is like what time do you stop? Do you have breaks in between, or do you just have one long 10 or 8 hour, 10 hour, 12-hour game? Or
so yeah, it's interesting because we've ran longer sessions and people peter out. So the field is only 6 acres, so we have to be creative. It's a freaking grind. So we have to allow like the lines to. That's why the helicopters our dropships are being used this year in mass. Rocket launchers are going to be flowing like crazy. So we found a successful formula for Arizona has been a hard start at 10. A break for an hour to give people lunch. We have lunch trucks lined up, and then we hard start at 1. So we tried this at a big game on Black Friday. Had 100 players, just a single day event, and this is where I pioneered it. Prior to this, we always got bogged down when we took a break because people are really slow to get back on the field, and I wanted to like get them all going before we started. But I finally just had this moment where it's like, F that. If they're not ready, that's on them. I want to give them the playing time that they want. So let's start when we say we start. If there's no one on the field, well, that's on them. And so we're doing that for reclamation in any event moving forward, whether it's a single day or 2-day event. It's hard starts at 10, hard start after the lunch break or break for our refs, whatever.
Right.
And anytime we have downtime, like before the final battle, we always make sure we start on time, even if the players aren't ready.
Yeah, we're doing something almost identical to that. We have on our one-day event, because it's going to be in Houston, it's going to be in June. It's going to be rough.
Yeah, you got.
We're going to have. I don't know specifically, and I'm not sure that we've ironed it out exactly, but we're going to have a format where it's an hour to hour and a half play, and then 45 minutes to an hour break, and then go again. And it's going to be like waves.
Like you gotta have that with the heat down there, right?
Yeah, I mean, and yeah, I mean, I'm sure Arizona's the same way. By the way, I went to Arizona this past summer. It was awesome. Like Grand Canyon, Page, Arizona on Lake Powell. It was awesome. So.
Oh yeah, you went to.
But the heat is brutal. If you're in the sun, if you're in shade, at least, it was a whole lot better with that dry heat. So.
Well, so it's funny because we have dry heat until about July, and then monsoons swing in, and everyone switches to either night games or early morning sessions, and they're done. Players are done by 10. But everything is fine until the monsoons kick in and we actually have humidity, and you can't. I mean, just like Houston or others. Granted, it's not the same level of humidity, but you can't sweat that shit off. You can't. There's no breeze to blow it off, and if there is, it's humid. It's
Right.
absolutely brutal.
Yeah.
So we go to night games at that point in the summertime.
You know, one thing you brought up when you were describing your event and talking about certain things fall flat with missions, we definitely learned that as well. We had a couple of really cool missions that were kind of deep past the 50, so to speak. And the field that we were on was, I mean, it's 40 acres total, but I think we were playing on about 20 of it. And there were definitely some bottlenecks, and some bottlenecks we can fix with more bunkers and we can break with more rockets. But we didn't quite, you know, hindsight's 2020. When we walked the field on Friday, it looked like it was super balanced, but we found that there was pretty much a line of scrimmage drawn across the field, and it was some really cool props and really cool missions that couldn't quite get completed by either side. So yeah, we're getting creative as well with ways to get people in to those areas with our next game. You mentioned drop ships or something like that. I'm not sure how they function, and I don't know how big this drop ship is because
That's what I was asking. That was one of my questions.
Or we're talking like I can get in it or what? I'm not really sure. But it sounds awesome because we were working on some game mechanics that will help people get behind that 50-yard line and mix it up.
Yeah, I mean it's so that bottleneck you talk about. So before I went out to Texas paintball, I mapped the field out with our guys, and I'm like, we're gonna bottleneck here, and we're gonna bottleneck here, and it's on the sides because the center leading up to Texas Capitol was pretty much like you had to really go balls deep to get up to the wall, and then you have guys shooting down from the windows at you. So like you really could only just hunker down in the corner and face your team and try to wave them forward. So every now and then I made a push up with Goon up to that, but most people don't have the balls to get through it.
So Goon, so Jeremy Montoya, Goon is what everybody calls him.
Yeah, I was on Goon's team.
Goon, yeah, he's great. He's very aggressive. He's a hard player, but he's like the most lovable guy ever. But when he's on the field, he gets so fired up. I mean, I think people 9 times out of 10, probably more than that, take him the wrong way. He's like, oh man, he's too aggressive, or he's mean, or this or that, or I saw him take a hit and he didn't walk. And you talk to him for 5 seconds, and he's like, I'll dial it back, even if he wasn't doing anything wrong. And then from that point forward, you watch him, and dude is nothing but sportsmanship. Like he is like hands down great. He used to be one of my teammates actually before I joined Texas Night Stalkers. He and I both were on different teams, and we played together. So I love it.
So Burke, because Alan was at the event as well. So he stated that he never got to walk the field. It was closed for prop placement at 9 a.m.
Yeah, we're going to work on that this first round. And, man, we did use a lot of that time because we had a lot to set up. We just set up challenges, and we had a whole nother section of the field where we had the sniper, pistol duel, and 3-man challenge. So we had set that up. We had also had set up all the props. And day one was far more prop specific intensive, whereas day two was a little bit more sandbox style, where everyone had what they needed mostly, and they were able to kind of like free play a little bit more. So we're going to try and balance it out by not making it so difficult on us on day one, so that we don't have to close the field quite as early. We're going to implement some props to come out right when they're needed as best as we can, but there's some things that are just too heavy or big to move in a short notice. It's just a big learning curve. And I watched the podcast 3-4 weeks ago when he was talking about how he planned to do a field walk right about 9 o'clock, and we were like, eh.
Right.
So I apologize to anyone that affected. We had actually spoken to several players directly that asked us, hey, can I walk the field at 7? Can I walk the field at 8? And we said yes. And then we decided 9 to give us a full 3 hours while the safety briefing was happening. Me and 5 or 6 dudes were running around just triple checking everything. And even still, we had 1 or 2 errors, but you know what happens, especially
Yeah. It's sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead, because my thought is going to probably change the conversation. Go ahead.
It's really interesting with event production because you don't realize how much work is involved until you're there going, shit. And there's a lot of work involved with it. And I would say that Reclamation 3 was probably the hardest on me because I didn't have I wanted everybody to play. So I simplified the game down to basically domination, and everyone loved it except for the people that really knew the event production side of it. So this year I brought back a return of those things that take a lot more work but will land a better event. Going back to what you were saying about your missions and stuff and props. I mean, I felt like it was great. I came in with no plan to like hang out with command. I came in as a grunt, and I planned on staying that way because I just wanted to go enjoy the weekend. And so from my perspective, I had a good time. Players, you always get the I don't even know what the number is, but I think the majority of players just want to pew, and they don't really care about the missions. And so those players need to have a reason to pew, whether it's big movement or whatnot. And then you have the other players, like your hardcore guys that are there for those complex missions and for that experience. And so it's really difficult to like balance. Like, how do you get that pew player engaged in the scenario aspect while also pleasing the experienced scenario team that wants like something super complex?
So that lines up with my comment, I think, too, because my comment is going to be, how do you use props just as go score, or do you use props to progress the game? Like, when you guys think about making your props, when you guys are thinking about props in general with producing the game.
If I can take that one.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, man, I tell you what, we shot the moon on this whole thing. I think we pretty much landed where we wanted. We definitely had some issues, but it was, trial by fire. And we really tried to first we wrote a really awesome story that I'm sure about 98% of the people probably never even really fully understood. And that's fine. But we did, with that, the props progress the story. We had this really cool, elaborate backstory. We wanted to make the Commanders game a little more involved as well, because a lot of times, and I've commanded a couple of times, and I've seen Commanders doing their thing where it's like mission drop at, say, right on the hour. They get their missions and they give out 3 cards and they write down who they gave it to if they do that. And then they're from that point forward, you're kind of like, what are you guys doing? What are you guys doing? Check in. But we wanted to make both the commanders and the players experience a little bit more technical, but we knew that there would be pew players, like you put it, but would there also be players that are like, I want the story and I want to decipher codes and I want to figure out this prop and so on and so forth. And we tried to encompass all of that. And so a lot of our props were very much like, if you got it in this hour, it would help you down the road. If you did not get it, then at 5 p.m. on day 1, you would get it automatically. You just wouldn't get any points for it. But now you have what you need for day 2. But if the other team got it at 2 p.m. during the mission hour, they now have 2 or 3 more hours to figure out what's coming and how to prepare for it or whatever. Or maybe it's a code that they can give to 4 or 5 players that are, hey, I'm really good at puzzles. So let me read that thing. Let me read that transcript and see if I can decipher it. And they had a few more hours like head start on it. So both the story and the props and all the extra stuff that wouldn't actually be considered props, like just intel, but just shit printed and file folders of stuff. We put a bunch of thought into it. A lot of it was like red herrings and crap that like led nowhere. It was just merely making them flip through it to get to the stuff that mattered. So we weren't trying to make a linear, hey, I got this packet. I open it up. It's one sheet of paper. If I read it, it tells me what to do. It was more like, hey, I got 15 folders. Some of them literally had pictures of, the governor's girlfriends that were just, porn stars and stuff like that.
Right. Those the intel packets we were all fighting to collect.
But the idea was like,
okay, right, because you're a player, right?
I don't think this is useful. And they flip through it and they're like, okay, here's telephone transcripts between the governor and the 2 commanders for both of our games, which we knew their names at that point. So we just threw their real call signs in. And it was like Governor Amos, our real governor is Abbott. So we had to change some names and stuff. And he's like playing both sides. And if you read the transcript, it all was dated 1 week prior to the game start. Even
see, I like that. I would love that.
It was a lot of involvement. And I knew that there was going to be a lot of people that saw it. But if they did, it was going to really be cool. And I had a lot of fun doing it. and so did Christian, who is like the main like storyline developer with me and in doing this. And so we like, I mean, it went from being really raunchy with the governor calling his like call girl and canceling things, and it was like all sorts of shit in the transcripts that we like, let's just dial that back. We should probably be family focused on this. And but it was a lot of fun, and that everywhere in that had a clue to some stuff that was going on. And there was later some missions where there was a cipher, and you specifically needed to find the transcripts or at least pay attention to them. And if you figured out the transcripts were the clue, then you could figure out what the mission card was for the very beginning of the next day.
Okay, so and before I let you go, Eli, hold on.
No, I'm rambling. Go ahead.
No, so it sounds like so again, I am one of the ones that kind of, we started playing a couple years ago, so we didn't get kind of the cool, intricate mission cards and had to find out your mission, stuff like that. So it sounds like that's kind of almost bringing that back to a point, right, where you kind of gotta legit figure out what the mission is. It's not just written on you to, hey, go do this, go do that. You know, is that what you were going for?
Are you asking me or are you asking Eli?
Well, just in general. I mean, just in general.
Yes, 100%. I would say yes to that. We wanted, well, we set out to make a scenario that we wish we could have played, and boy, did we. We really wanted to get in there and just run and gun, but there was just no way for us to take part unless we did like a third faction thing, and we didn't really want to do that. We also only had 7 or 8 of us to ref, plus 2 base refs paid for by the team. So we had to, we're spread out. We had coverage, but man, we had to be Johnny on the spot with running around between stuff. So, but we set out to make a game where you had to really like use your head as well as your trigger finger. And it really started, and I have to give a shout out here to Cesar Cisneros, and I hope I'm pronouncing his name right.
I know that
he's
name
with, he's with, he produced Enigma up in Indiana in Hobart at Blast Camp last year. And we traveled to that game, and we kind of got a taste of like how he took it to the next level with, you know, binary codes and, you know, figuring out what the missions were and so on and so forth. And that made us come back and really want to like show Texas what we had. It was a little new and fresh. You know?
So since you brought up Indiana, real quick, I'm sorry, since you're in Indiana, are you guys familiar with Red Feather?
I'm sorry, Red Feather?
Red Feather, yeah, Red Feather Productions or Chad Lowe's?
No, I'm not, please. I don't know.
What about you, Eli? You know?
No.
Nope. Okay, so Red Feather does games kind of in the Midwest, so say like Indiana for sure. So you're right. So when you were explaining how you did like the layout, so he did an Evil Dead game last year, and the Evil Dead game kind of was the same. Where you had the Book of the Dead, and you had to kind of decipher the Book of the Dead to learn to get your mission. So pretty much it was, you know, and you had the book at the beginning of the game, and as quick as you could decipher it, as quick as you could learn what the mission was. And it just reminds me of that. And I think I loved it. Like I loved that game. You know, I loved the way it worked. The prop, to your point, the props, it pushed the game forward. So you got a prop, and it gave you ability to do something.
Yeah. So has anybody ever done, it's a big thing here in Austin and various parts of Texas, but they're called escape rooms.
Yes. Oh, I'm 5-0. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Right. That one escape room we went to and we did it quick as hell.
I don't take losses on escape rooms. They're my bitch.
So fun.
We try to mix a little bit of that plus paintball plus that game that you and I talked, or I didn't talk, but you brought it up at the last time that I tuned in. We talked about it's an Xbox game.
Keep talking and nobody explodes.
We don't explode or something like that, right?
Is that the one with 4 players or 5 players and one person is reading the wiring guide or something?
Yes.
Kind of, yeah.
And one person
we played on the computer.
Yeah, we played on the computer. Yeah, we played on the computer. We played it live on the computer once, and they got me blew up several times.
And my wife was better at it than me.
Some of the props are based off that game. Some of the mission clues, packets, deciphering code stuff we based off escape rooms in general, and then one other thing that you mentioned that it was sort of a mixture of all of those things, and just basically props that do things.
Yeah, I mean, I love those. Like, we're gonna show I'm gonna show yours too, like your props that do things. I just want to, because Eli messaged me. He said that it's a response to, I think Lacey's comment. He does not allow outside props, right, Eli?
Yeah. So if someone wants to bring a rocket launcher,
It was actually Neb.
Neb,
yeah,
okay.
it was Neb Nebula. Yeah, I supply the props for the event. So 2 rocket launchers, 1 per team, plenty of rockets, shields, pretty much whatever.
Oh, you supply all that too?
I do. Yeah, it's
shit,
assigned to them. Yeah, we have. Yeah, and so whatever's in play for that event, that's what they get. And I've had different mechanisms to restrict it, or with timers and stuff in the past. I've had a tech tree that they had to follow, that they had to climb up, and that led to snowballing for one event. So yeah, so I've had a number of ways of tackling it, and so this year will be a little bit different as well. So
I'm trying to read that message. What was that?
The one, no, I was trying to. It was TBs. He said escape room and paintball. So they got a plan for the Sherwood game to have a escape room in the pirate game. Yeah.
Yeah, I tell you, I'll say this. We went back and forth on this, and I was like really pushing for a whole lot harder ciphers and codes and stuff like that. And I was talking back and forth with Christian, who was like my main partner with this. In fact, he really wrote a lot of story. He's like, man, I'm really concerned that we're going to push too hard, too fast in this first game, and people are going to get frustrated. And what ended up happening, and I was like, okay, cool, let's dial it back a little bit, as long as we don't lose the essence. And really what we learned was that, man, they just ate that shit up. And they were all about the codes and to get into the briefcase that had the bomb prop in it on day one.
Yeah.
There was like 3 different locks, and each code or key or combination was just a clue to
Is that what I have or no? That's not what I had. Is that what I have a schematic of or no?
Yeah, you have a schematic for the wiring diagram. On day 2, they had to arm and defuse the bombs. Let me see what that says.
We say paintball trip mines. I want to paintball trip mines.
Yeah, but some people don't like them being used properly.
I've thought about providing, like, having a bunch of trip mines in the beginning, or even a minefield buried in the sand. So when each team is assaulting from their sides, just have them blowing up like crazy. I'm not saying that will never happen, but that takes a while to develop, get those props. They have to be commercially made. I think trip mines would be a blast to just trip up a whole field, and they're the event doing it.
Fuck yeah. I'm sorry. I'm that guy. If I get to a spot that I shouldn't be at and I got a trip mine on me and I set it and you run past it,
I just think it would be funny to have like 10 people blow up on one side and then 10 blow up another place, all in the first 10 minutes.
So we had a couple of things. So we had one of the props. You got a picture of this thing, but they look like this. There was like 6 of them. All right, there you go.
What is that?
All right, so that's an old CO2 canister that looks like an IED with a Enola Gay hooked to it, an electric match and a battery with a clothespin that closes the circuit and ignites the Enola Gay when the plastic tab is yanked out of it.
So the plastic, yeah, I can't do it with the mouse, but the plastic tab is at the top. Yeah, he's going to show you. So yeah.
Anyway, so you connect these 2 wires, the whole thing's live. It's been clipped, but there's a clothespin right here, and that pushes the 2 contacts together when you yank a piece of plastic out of it. So we had like 6 of them scattered, 3 on each side of the field for each team. They weren't trip wires because we didn't want to run even though it's this thread, I didn't want to run the risk of anybody tripping, getting wrapped around their foot, and then they like face plant and something happens. But we set them where they had to disarm them, but we wired them to whatever they were near. And so if the packet said disarm them, don't cut blue wires because I don't want to have to rebuild them.
Right.
But they were like, just don't. But you got to move them and without setting them off. And we had a couple of guys just read the mission card real fast, like just ran in there, no wire cutters, even though we gave them to them, and just grabbed it, yanked on one. It was like wired to the rim of a Jeep or something, and it just set it off like immediately. So we got no points for that one. So that was one thing we did. And then Christian and I were actually like, we had this, whenever we came up with these missions, we were having this like maniacal, evil, Dr. Evil kind of thing. We're like, oh man, they're gonna hate us, but then they'll think it's awesome later. And so we were thinking, you're talking about minefield, but ironically enough, we were thinking about the game or the next game a few weeks ago while we were going to a MagFed meetup. And I was like, what if we buy a metal detector and then we make them find these buried things that we put in the friggin' ground that are covered up and concealed, but they gotta like some guys gotta get out there
with that wand thing and shit,
and sweep around and find them.
Oh,
and
that'd be
then
nuts.
dig them up, and then don't set them off though. That's like a big
doing. But I mean, so doing
teaser to anybody
would that be
listening.
playing MagFed doing that, or is that just paintball in general?
Well, our event was a MagFed game with like a limited ammo option, and you know, there's a lot. Texas is real lenient on like the MagFed only thing. We don't really care, but we noticed that you know, California and Illinois and the West, and the MagFed only guys, like they're really strict about that. So we were trying to produce an event in January. It was our first event, and we couldn't rely with COVID on having a huge travel participation from
to
those
come
guys.
down. Yeah.
So we had to really rely on Texas to get it done, and we were glad that a lot of you guys came from out of state. In order to do that, we allowed 100-round gravity-fed only hoppers and mechanical. Man, I might be messing this up. But it was mechanical guns or pumps, but mechanical with a 100-round hopper. Because we wanted to allow people that didn't have MagFed has a pretty high like equipment threshold you have to get through to be able to participate, especially if you're already in the paintball. You're like, I can just I gotta buy mags, I gotta buy mag pouches and vests.
I know. I know.
It's intense, right? And because Texas is not quite as strict about their MagFed only games, we were like, I hope some guys from California, Illinois, and the East Coast would come. I know a lot of those guys really just want MagFed strictly and nothing else. But we had 126 people, I think, in January during COVID, and some people were running a little bit of both. I think it was
not bad.
MagFed, and nobody seemed to complain that guys had hoppers. I mean,
Can I add something to that?
sure, yeah.
Don't change it. Maintain that format because I was able to run with guys with Phantoms, stock class, EMEX with 100-round hoppers. Like, that's pretty badass, and it didn't have any impact on the outcome of the game. When guys can just throw 10 pods at a field, that's when the field gets even more locked up. Right. But yeah, I think it was a fantastic event for what you brought, and I wouldn't change a thing on that. I wouldn't make it more restrictive down the road because you just alienate those people that you invited in the first one.
Yeah, well, that's awesome feedback, and I appreciate that because we were wondering, what the take was, and I don't know if we don't know when we're hearing from the majority or just the people that pay attention and respond. But so far, it didn't seem like it was an overabundance of round ball and hoppers, even though they're gravity fed. So they get 3, 4, 5 shots before they gotta shake it.
You gotta shake it, exactly.
Yeah, and I saw a lot of guys. There's a couple of guys that we play with regular here in Texas that are a MagFed centric team when the time comes, and they were running MG100s with gravity fed hoppers. So
nasty.
They had.
I call that the nasty way, by the way, just so you know. So if you ever hear me say you running nasty, that's the nasty way. Every time he does it, every time he does it, I say, "Oh, you nasty today."
So these guys that have the capability to run full MagFed chose to throw on a 100-round gravity hopper with round ball, and some of their teammates didn't. And I was one of the ones that was a little bit more nervous about it. I was like, man, I hope those hoppers don't overwhelm, the game mechanics. And I don't think they did. And I watched it and I didn't think they did. What is this?
He said, "To those space gun guys, get first strikes flying past their face."
Yeah. That's one of my teammates, Mike. His code or call sign's Disciple.
I used round ball all weekend, and there were a few points where I was flat out pissed that I didn't buy first strike. But I'm incredibly stubborn. It wasn't until the paint that they called MagFed paint started breaking on Sunday that I was like, that's it. I'm just going to go buy first strike. But I stuck to it, changed out the bore and played for the rest of the week, the rest of the day on Sunday with the original paint. But guys that aren't used to first strikes flying at you, they don't know how to play against them with round ball. It's a different game. But anyways, I digress.
So real quick, I'm gonna go back to the Claymore thing, right? The Claymore comments. So I was sent this picture by TB. I guess this is what they had back in the day. This. Look, so you see it with the hand on the trigger and everything too, right?
It hurt.
So yeah,
I just think of you set that off once, and then you got to go back. You may have got one dude out, and then you got to take that all the way back to reload it, and so the utility of it is a little bit less as a player. That I think it's badass.
I think that's base defense though. You got to think that might be base defense. You put that at the base. Yeah, you put that at the base. Somebody come up, you let it go, and they're dead. Like you get off, go ahead and walk back. Take the walk back because while you walking back, I'm reloading.
Yeah, there's a prop, and I don't know who manufactures it, but I've seen YouTube videos, and it looks. If you've seen a Claymore in a movie or a real picture of one, take that and then make it about twice as thick, maybe more, and it's got 25, 30, 35 holes where you just pop a paintball.
Oh, I think I saw it. It's newer, right?
It is, and somebody showed it shooting up against the side of a building, and I mean, it was a good spread. I mean, it could take out a squad, but you gotta. With those sort of things, you know, in paintball, you don't always get those like perfect moments where it's like 6 guys and they're all kind of close by.
Right.
You know what I mean? So you kind of need those to be remote set off when the timing's right, not just when the first guy trips it.
Well, and then you have to worry if it's remote sent off. Then you have to worry about it walking legs and disappearing. If it's yours.
that was actually a big concern of mine, and you know, the paintball community by and large, I think, is pretty awesome.
It only takes one.
But it only takes one, yeah. I know. Yeah. I mean, you go to scenario after scenario after scenario. It was like, oh, I found this and I found that and lost and found. And then you go to one scenario. It's like, oh, our tent got raided. Like while we were playing.
That one time, right? That one time it just
it's like
fucks
the
it up.
most sickening thing. So, you know, I was running around as prop master, so to speak. You know, I was looking at I had like 10 alarms set on my phone, or it's like 1 minute past the hour. This prop doesn't matter anymore. And I'm like, go find it. You know, if it's not where you put it, it's got to be with command, or it's with the player that they sent off with it. And so it was like, and we had everything turned back in. It was no issue. But
so your pops, because I want to get to your pops for a second too, real quick. Eli, if you got any pictures of yours, send them to me for sure. I'll show them up.
Yeah.
Burke, one of the props that I wanted to kind of talk about too was this one. So,
all right, let me grab. Hold on a second.
Yep,
I'm just gonna grab mine. I'll be right back, guys.
All right, cool.
Is that a
and Matt,
battery?
Comment, Matt. So yeah, so oh, he
all right, now I can see myself. All right, So this prop, man. All right, so it runs off a 12-volt Milwaukee battery.
Yeah, I was about to say. That's what I asked. Yeah.
What's that?
That's what I was asking about, the battery on the side.
Yeah, so I mean, these things are 3D printed on Amazon or whatever, and I got Milwaukee tools everywhere. But I didn't want to deal with like buying big bulky 12 volts. So they had these 3D printed adapters. What this is and what it was for our game was it was a fuel pump override or manual override station. So what the story was that there was 2 airplanes on the field and they needed to refuel them. So each team got their own fuel can. They had a fuel tank in their plane, which is basically a 5-gallon bucket. And they had to go to the center of the field at the same time, the same hour. Where this was plugged into an actual transfer pump, which was strapped to a 55-gallon water drum. And they needed to fill up the fuel. But the problem was, and the mission card explained this, that there was a problem or a malfunction with the pump, and you need to do a 2-person override and rewire the pump. So what ended up happening, it's going to make a bunch of noise, so bear with me. I won't turn it on until it needs to. I always add these damn beeping shit to my props because it's annoying. But anyway, this key and the key on the other side, they're momentary. They won't stay on unless you hold them. And then these buttons on the side, on each side, also will not stay on unless you hold them. And they're so far apart, you can't do any of them unless 2 people use both. Right? So what ends up happening is you power this on, and it just makes an annoying beep. You power that one on, you power that one on, it'll start to light things up, and everything's labeled like 1, 2, 3, 4 in the order you should do it. It doesn't matter if you do it at the same time or not. But as you turn one key and another person turns another, these LEDs will start lighting up, and they'll light up different colors. And then your plugs have green or red or white or blue, and they need to be plugged into the corresponding crisscross pattern. A lot like that game Among Us that Eli was talking about.
Yeah.
Which I actually didn't even play until after I built this thing. I swear by that.
Oh, okay.
So anyway, and there's also a left and a right on these things. So if you crisscross them the wrong way, like you get the right color, but you don't have left or right correct, it's still not going to work. But once you power it up, it'll tell you. Well, I'm sorry. Once you get two people to throw these lights up, and you got it wired up, then when they throw all four switches at the same time, then it will power the pump or whatever you plug to this. I mean, you can plug this to whatever. You could have some sort of PA system that sets off a nuclear alarm noise or something if you want to have like a nuclear bomb prop. But we had a water pump, and the mission card explained, do these things. It needs a 2-person override, and we kind of left it at that. Once the lights started lighting up, they started figuring out what was going on.
Christian said, Burke Harris is the man. He's the key component to the secret sauce behind how our event works so well.
Oh, thank you, Christian. I appreciate it. He wrote the story, and I kept coming up with, he'd write the story, I'd read the missions, and I'm like, oh, man, we don't need a siphon pump or a hand pump or something. I was like, what if we made this thing that was, crazy and involved and had lights?
Extremely intricate. I love that shit. I would love that, though. What you got for me, Eli? What you got for me?
So just going back, my approach is way simpler with events because I have to do a lot of hand holding. So, like, again, going back to Arizona Scenario Ball, there are players, there are elements of players, but I have a different philosophy behind it, and it doesn't mean that one mindset is better than the other, but you have, basically with big games and scenario, you have your slapsticks, and then you have like super complex, right? And they're all fine, and you get different things out of each one. But so when I was at your event, and guys were trying to disarm the bomb under NASA, so that's where the SAM site was. James Skelly from Respawn from San Diego was like, man, I can't figure this thing out, or they just didn't have enough time or whatever. I'm like, man, I could actually do something similar and not steal an idea, but make it. So my idea with scenario, and I'm sorry, I'm rambling here, is I got to make it accessible, right? I'm not designing a game for 5 people. I'm not designing missions for 5 or 10 people. And I'm designing the missions because I've had commanders like literally just, they have 5 guys and that's all they do the whole time, and they only use those 5 guys for missions, and then those 5 guys get right. Then those 5 guys are their best friends, so then they give their best friends the best, most valuable player or whatever. I don't care about that stuff. But so I want to make this accessible as possible for as many players to like at least see it if they're not engaging in the missions. So you might have a pew type player that decides all of a sudden, hey, I want to actually go try that, and so I picked up a couple breaker boxes and threw on a Simon game. Now that's not showing up because I have a green screen in the back.
Right. So that's fine. Yeah. The green is hidden. Yeah.
It's green, right? So kind of cool that shows up. So they've got to hit a certain score and like one of the missions, in order for them to get points for that mission, they have to reach a minimum score, and I haven't defined that yet for people listening in that are playing. Right. A certain number of players have to do it, and it's difficult enough that if you're taking fire, you're going to screw up, and if you lose, you got to go respawn. Like if you lose any of these type of missions, if you don't win it, you have to go back to respawn.
Should I actually? I mean, that is even dope. So I mean, just to talk about one thing you talking about the stealing, right? So one of the reasons why I wanted to do this with you guys for sure is because, again, I mean, I understand that you guys play each other, or you could potentially play each other games, but if Burke has a dog-ass idea that somebody from Arizona hasn't played, and you guys are okay with sharing ideas, so to say, and then you take that back to Arizona, that enhances the play for Arizona. Yeah. Same up here in the Midwest. There's a lot of stuff up here that we don't like. I mean, there's a guy in here right now. Shit, I see the comments, but I'm not paying attention to the name, so I apologize for people that's there. I know his goddamn name. Where is it? Alan Redwood, right? We play with him at Hell Survivors. He's like, Hell Survivors need more props. If we were to bring this there, that would make this so much better because it's stuff that doesn't exist.
I on that note, and he just showed like the Simon Says thing in the fuse box. That's awesome. Like, I mean, some people might look at it and think it's just like kid's toy, but like, man, that stuff, like, it's already pre-programmed. It's ready to roll. You don't have to do the circuitry and out, you know, what do they call it, the Raspberry Pi or Arduino.
Yeah. I mean, I could do all that, but again, it depends on the audience that I'm doing. So it's
awesome.
complicated enough that it allows somebody to come up and play, but it's also simple enough that a kid can get it, you know, if they want to get in there.
And it makes it more difficult because people got to understand too. It makes it more difficult because you're doing this under fire.
Yeah. So one thing that wasn't in our game that we I actually got on. This is just a chess timer, and this one usually it's all red or all blue or all green or whatever. I actually reached out to the company and I cannot. It's a very weird name, starts with a Z. They were nice enough. I reached out to them directly and I said, hey, can you make me one that's blue on one side and red on another? But instead of a normal chess timer where if you guys play chess, you touch this side and that timer starts.
Right.
Do the opposite. So they literally took this and they're like, yeah, we can do that. This is one that I hacked. I took a green or I took a red and a blue one and I took it apart. But they make them now. And if now they require an order of 10 or more. And the downside is, you know, somebody can run up here and just turn it off.
Damn.
But you can change that with a remote switch as a producer. But same sort of thing. If you want to do domination, which is what we did with MagFed meetups, this wasn't in our game because we hadn't found a way to incorporate it. It was kind of too late. Everything was already done, and I was still like having ideas while I couldn't sleep. So now we've got something with our MagFed meetups, and I've gotten a bunch of guys. Somebody comes along and red team hits that. And now red team's running their numbers down. So the goal is to get the least numbers, and you can have 3 of these things and add them together.
Right.
5 or whatever. So
right.
I know that a guy named Justin Schaefer out in the East Coast, I don't know if he lives in New York, but I think his event is in New York. It's called Kilo 69. They used to do stuff like this where it was inside of a locked box. Michael Strauss messaged me, Burke Harris at Facebook. You can find me on the MagFed page and stuff like that. He had these sort of things inside of small lock boxes like your fuse box, but it had some sort of RFID lock, and only engineers could open that box and change the time from front to back or whatever.
I like that too.
It was pretty neat. So it wasn't just everybody, but, you know, engineers, in my experience with most scenarios, it's like engineers are kind of like, hey, we need you to fix this thing. The tank's broken or this place is demoed. You need to fix it. That made engineers a little bit more valuable because they could actually change time on your like domination clocks and so on and so forth. And they're the only ones.
That's cool.
Wait, Eli.
Yeah, so for domination, Matt, I just sent you a photo.
I got it. There you go.
So I have 5 of these. Now they were on concrete poured bases, just buckets, but those tend to not be easy to transport or store. But the bottom has blue LED lights, the top is red, and you flip up, you turn red, you flip down, you turn blue. Pretty straightforward. The last 2 years I've been running these, and they were the primary objectives. So it turned into just a freaking meat grinder. This year they'll be part of it for the first mission of each half, and so I don't worry about counting points. It's just whoever controls it at the end of that first hour gets the points for the whole thing. We had point tracking before. Every 10 minutes you scored points. It put a lot of work on the refs keeping track of it, and so that's something that we had to keep in mind. What do we want the refs doing? We want them administering the event. We want them calling people out. We don't want them paying attention to towers. And so I dialed the simplicity way down on those, but those are kind of a core part of reclamation for the foreseeable future.
Yeah, I like I said, look, you saw Matt wanted to reach out to you already on that one, but like I said, I mean, I think I'm talk to you on that one a little bit more too, Eli, because again, for those who don't know, like I said, because you're RKE with me, right, Eli?
Yeah, I'm not part of it, but I'm in the early.
Well, I mean, you're working on game modes related to it, right?
Yeah, I am drawing this field in 3D as much as possible. It won't be ready for this event next week, but I am working on 3D modeling this field so I can implement more things down the road.
Right. So, I mean, because that'll add to, I mean, 'cause you just brought up a good point of, the whole every 10-minute thing. Like, the software would calculate that for you and allow you to get to do. Because I personally I like the combination of both. Like so just what you said about the 10 points, what Burke has with that timer, right? And then with RKE, how you have to code someone as an engineer, all that can mesh right together. And it can be a very hybrid game where you got the engineer that has the RFID card that has to get to a location, capture said location using the application, using the software, and then tap the box, open the box, tap your contraction to start the timer countdown. And then, I mean, I just see that all of that can mesh together, and it can be and then you got the shooty ball people that just want to get out there and shoot faces.
Right, and the shooty ball people are the core players, so you can't alienate them. So you need them. You need to have an event for them. So like, if you have too many like big area effect things, and you just keep blasting them and keep forcing them back to respawn, eventually they're just going to get sick of that and they're going to go home. But most people just. Most people are cool. They want to shoot. One thing I want to add. So one of the other props that I built was another breaker box. Mm-hmm. Let me shut this light off. So
the light. No, you good?
Yeah. No. Let's take that off. That's Lexon protecting that.
Okay.
And it's. Try to get in here. Super Mario Bros. See if it shows up.
Oh shit!
It's like I see it.
Yeah. So they got to beat the. Well, I'm not gonna. Yeah, they got to beat the first level of Super Mario Brothers. And so pretty much they get up to this pad, they pull out the controller, and we got one of our game control guys that are monitoring, and they've got to beat the first level.
That's fucking dope. I'm sorry, because I'm a gamer too. That's fucking dope, yo. Like, I love that shit. Because because you're doing it with fucking paintballs whizzing past you. I mean, like the guy said, you're doing it with first strikes whizzing past you. You try to play.
Well, yeah, and so the whole idea behind it is like, oh yeah, beating the first level of Super Mario's, that's freaking easy. No, not when you're under fire.
No, you're under fire. No.
So it's just coming up with dumb ways. One, to protect the tablet from getting shot. Okay, breaker box. Two, find a way to mount it. 3D printed a tablet mount, which, by the way, took 5 prints to figure out. I don't know why. I just kept messing up the measurements. And then finally, making sure that it all works in a simple way so that we can cycle through as many people going. I'll have a Bluetooth speaker tied up so it'll be loud. So when people are playing Mario, if they die, everyone will know on that side of the field.
I love that.
Yeah.
So, and you do so because I'm going to show Burks in a second, and you do that with, like you said, a tablet in a breaker box, protected, and then something running from that, right?
So it's just a tablet running with a Bluetooth controller. That's it. And then a Bluetooth connected battery speaker, just a big ass speaker, like a whatever. So assuming that stuff doesn't get hit, I mean, the paint can definitely seep in. I haven't put any gaskets around the breaker box yet. But the idea is that it wouldn't get hit up that much because it'll mess them up for later on.
I mean, well, part of the game, hopefully, is to tell people, hey, don't shoot the goddamn, don't shoot them. Don't shoot them on purpose.
Yeah. Well, you never know. You never know. So.
And then,
Burke, a few issues where people would find a prop that's clearly labeled in a color that was not their team, and that was part of our briefing. Anyway, fast forward to game on, everyone forgets everything. Red guy finds a blue prop or whatever. He's like talking to whatever refs. He's like, hey, can I take that? He's like, no, you're blue. It's red. He's like, well, can I shoot it? I'm like, no.
Right.
And he's like, well, you can guard it or you can radio your commander about it. He's like, never mind. He's like, radio. He's like, forget it, guys. This is a bunch of BS. We didn't need to be here. And it's like, dude, you don't need to shoot the prop. You don't need to take the prop. You can guard it. It's there.
Well, I mean, because that's what we do, right? That's what we do. So again, we there was a game we played, and it was, we had to get to a particular location, get the prop. We got there. We got our prop. The rules state, don't touch it. The rules don't state, don't sit on it and shoot anybody that come towards it. So we stuck two guys. Stuck 2 guys in the bushes. Every time somebody came up, we shot them. And because again, that's why I asked you earlier about what you do with the props, about if they proceed with the game, because this particular prop was part of the game. If you didn't have it, you couldn't move on to the next part of the game.
Yeah, so, we had some things that were literally chained in place. That were big enough to chain in place, and then we had others that were, it was a very It was a very clear-cut set of rules, and 99% of the time it worked. Actually, I don't recall anybody other than that one instance I was jokingly talking about a moment ago, where anyone even remotely came close to screwing with something that wasn't theirs. It's happened in other games we've been to where even I did it. I thought if I found this cassette tape that had my color on it, I could touch it. But it had a cassette tape that was my color, but it had number 6 on it. And we were on number 3 or whatever hour of missions. And I took it, and then Caesar, who I gave shout outs to earlier with Enigma, he like found out who had. He's like, "Don't take them unless." And I'm like, man, I consider myself to be one of the best rule readers out there. Like, I read the rules, I live and breathe them, especially when it comes to specifics on a scenario. I just misunderstood that.
Well, that's the same way with me. Like, I'm the same way. Like, I mean, and again, so they're the producer here. His name Brandon Page. He's Old School Scenarios. He produced a game last year. And I was on them. Like, you said, these rules to be out. I need to know the rules. Like, I'm just a rule guy. Like, I need to know the rules, especially because again, so for me, the props make a lot of the game for me, and I like when they're functional and add to the game. So I know David Brown was in the comments talking about having how props with the VIP with the generals and then props with the young guns. So, and those are for me to have the young gun in the game and make sure that they have something to do. But I like when the props are part of the game and progress the game.
Something I can.
Yeah.
We actually took the props, and we also tried really hard to make the night game really
perfect
immersive.
Segue, Eli, right?
What's that?
What?
Perfect segue. So Eli sent me this. So you said something about night game. So I'm assuming this is for the night game, Eli.
So there's no night game at Reclamation. It's just it's just a 5-hour total gameplay game. But I do run the next event I run in May, Sector 6. Will have these on them. So I picked up inflatable bunkers mainly to supplement some of the areas at BKW that I felt would bottleneck. So we could alleviate some of those areas that were more open, and so those are 5 foot tall bunkers, and the taller one is 6 feet tall. And so I made sure that they were LEDs so that there would be more application down the road in the immediate and in the near future.
Okay. And so to go back to Burke, what I was going to talk about with you as far as like when I asked Eli about how his props were built. This is what Eli sent me that I'm going to figure out how to build.
I didn't send that.
Sorry, Burke. This is what Burke sent me that I'm going to build and we'll be having locally to play with here.
Hang on, since you brought that up, I'll just go get this crazy thing. So,
yeah, I'm building this, Eli. I'm building this, by the way.
You're building that?
I'm going to build. I'm going to build this.
All right. So,
yeah.
I don't know if you can see this yet. I'm gonna open it and hold it up. This is like the crazy prop that they had to unlock. Also, I put Lexan to protect everything down here, like you were talking about earlier. But on day one, this thing was like shut with all these latches and all these clues and combinations and so on and so forth. So I'm trying to find keys to turn it on. Oh no! Oh, I got it. Anyway, yeah. So day 2, each team had one of these, and they needed to get it to a location that was essentially at 75% of the way to the enemy's base. So it was easily attacked by and diffused based on geography. But if they had 90 minutes to hold the other team off from diffusing it, even though the geography was closer to the enemy base. So there was a little bit of back and forth on that. Anyway, when you arm this thing, it makes more noise like all of my problems. But anyway, there's 2 modules, and one of them is all these LEDs down here. Some of them come on, some of them don't. The switches start up, some of them start down. And there's a clue packet that was actually somewhere else on the field that looks like that game we talked about.
Yeah, that's part of keep talking. Yep.
So they had to figure out how to re-switch this to a different series. So that based on whether a red LED or green LED or both or none were on and the switch was up, down, or off, they had to flip them to a different position. And when they were done, they gave this a try and hit that button. And if they were right, this hatch opened. If they were wrong, they were all dead for about well, everyone in the vicinity above 20 feet was dead because it was just a gas attack. But the timer was still ticking, and then the ref would then open the hatch for them. They just didn't get any points at that point. And inside was a screwdriver where they could open that little small panel, and there was wires. And there was another thing. I don't have a paper, but it was a manual that said, if you have 6 wires or 7 wires, 8 wires, start here.
I love this shit. I'm sorry.
And then you go, yeah. And then you go down the list, and it was like, well, if there's 2 yellow and 1 green, cut the green or whatever. And really, all that stuff's just made up, right? I mean, I can rewire this thing however I want, put whatever color wires I want, and then write the manual to fit it. But it's all based on that game. And I thought it was gonna be a lot harder than it was. But once you know which wires set things off and which ones don't, you can write the manual to sound complicated, but as long as it's worded black or white in the description, then they'll know which ones to cut. But man, people start reading, they're like, especially if they didn't cut one of the right wires earlier in the sequence, now it'll say something like, well, there's a black wire and 1 yellow wire has been cut, meaning you should have cut it, or maybe you didn't. Now cut this, if not, cut that. And so if you did it right on step, say 4, now you're on step 7, and if you got the first part right, you'll keep going. Otherwise, you're just set it off. So,
Man, yeah. Once adrenaline kicks in, throughout
yeah. Exactly.
It's easy. It gets hard.
So one team got it. One team planted it and set it off, or one team planted it. Sorry, excuse me. It got planted automatically at a certain time if the team had not done so themselves in order to keep the game going, but they just didn't receive the points for doing it. And then so both bombs got planted. One was successfully set off after 90 minutes. In fact, they were so close.
Is that the video? So is the bomb? Was that the video in the background where the guys were kind of at? The video I saw in the group.
They went to a tunnel.
Yeah, it was like under a tunnel or something. Okay, that's what that was.
Yeah,
all right.
So that was that. I was inside with another one of my refs, and we were sort of watching and filming and trying to make sure we had some footage, which is still coming out, by the way. It's just, man, we got a lot of footage, and it takes a while to make an interesting video that's only 6 minutes long, and you've got probably 30 hours worth of footage. But one team was able to successfully defuse theirs, and we caught none of that on camera. And then the other one, they were so close, and man, blue team made this push right into that tunnel. It was all captured on video, and wiped out everybody that was working on the bomb at the time because they were just sort of like tunnel visioned on the wires.
Right.
Manual. If they just had 1 or 2 guys running security, they could have taken that guy out and then kept going. But with that happening, it kind of shifted things a little bit, and they only had 7 minutes left out of the timer.
So what's funny about that is I was on that team that got wiped. I wasn't part of the wipe. I kept trying to push into the Capital area. No, I would switch between NASA and Capital. We were just red. We just got our shit pushed in by the end of day 2, and but I'm getting ready to make a push back to NASA, and a few teammates were like, "No, stay clear of the bridge. Don't go past it. I'm like, so we need to not assault NASA. And then 5 minutes later, the bomb goes off, and I'm like, we were supposed to assault it. So there's a little bit of confusion on our end that kept us from making that final push the last 7 minutes.
Yeah, we
No fault of yours. That's just
right.
How it happens.
It was a little. I wish I had a bullhorn at a few times where I could have given like a countdown update. There's just little things like that where I could have.
Well, but you take that back, like you kind of mentally note those and take that back and say just have an extra piece. So what was it? This is one of your patches?
Okay, I've got it right here. So me and my buddy, business partner, we always come up, bounce off stupid ideas, and one of them was this. A few months ago, somebody sent me this like big game complaint card, and it was I tweaked it, and a lot of people just keep adding complaints to it, like why are you failing at big games, or why do you hate them? And it was just like bad refs and all sorts of dumb stuff. And so like, well, we should make a patch out of that, or a headband or something stupid. I'm like, let's make it something fun. So we decided to make a bunch of mini patches, and then we said, well, we got to put something on it, so let's make a big ass patch, like ridiculously oversized patch. And that's what we came up with. So every player at Reclamation will get one of these patches, the big ones, and then the little ones they buy. And then in the future, we'll have mini patches that, like if it's a night game, it'll be embroidered with glow-in-the-dark stitching, stuff like that. And so, yeah, I mean, it's just, some of the I gotta go this way. Some of the ideas were just, just fun, stupid things. But this thing is massive. Like I've got my kids walking past them with the patch on my arm. It's really, really big. And it's hard to even describe until you hold it in your hand and you go, "What the f is this?"
But I like it. That's one of those props that you could take with you, though, right? You know what I'm saying? One of those props that you take with you. And again, and then you buy the little mini patches with the gold coins.
No, well, so you actually pay for
that's real money.
Real money.
Okay, all right.
We'll have prizes, like people can come and they'll open. We have 3 treasure boxes, so my company event name is Big Bang Paintball, and I got that because I got pissed at a tournament when somebody took a Bang energy drink out of a cooler that was mine. And so the nickname came from that. And I knew I wouldn't live it down. So I'm like, well, I needed a scenario event production name. So I just formed an LLC around Big Bang Paintball and went from there. But so everything I've played with is like those bunkers. I call them the Big Bang bunkers. The bazookas, the rocket launchers are Big Bang bazooka.
Okay.
Just, dumb ideas, a dumb play off of that. But the treasures, it's actually 3 pirate treasure boxes. Just order them off Amazon. So they'll have we'll put one in, we'll put some of the Among Us characters in one, we'll put patches in another and something else in another. So they pick one of the boxes and they can pull something out of it. It's kind of like a kid's school treasure box, but they get they pay for a coin and they get to pick something out. But the majority of the mini patches will be for sale. And we've just come up with random things like Bernie Mittens. We did
Bernie Mittens.
We did Bernie Mittens. We didn't do a Twisted Tea patch, but we did make a Twisted Tea headband.
So you see that.
Nice. Yeah, so we have a Bernie Mittens patch. That'll be here, I think, Monday or Tuesday with our big order. But we made 400 of these mother of all patches. And I mean, you can fit a 3-inch patch in it and still have room for the rest. And that's what you saw in that picture that I sent.
So I'm gonna have to go ahead and shoot you the PayPal. I need one of those.
That's fair enough.
I won't make it to Arizona next week, but I need one of those.
No, yeah. So it's cool. Yeah, that's fine. But yeah, I sent you.
What's this one? This one. That's it on the arm, right?
That's on the arm. Yeah, I'm wearing the jersey, so that's on the arm.
And then what's this?
Okay, so Burke, this is your mannequin. So one of my things, because I knew I wasn't really going to get into the missions, I had a bunch of stickers that I brought with me on rolls, and I plastered them everywhere that I could.
No, we got some of those. In fact, that one might still be stuck to the dummy. But
it is, yeah, a permanent relic from Arizona. I actually tried to hand out stickers to a few of the Texas guys, and like, why would we let you promote your team? And I'm like, it's just stickers, guys. Have them, take them.
I don't know who said that, but
it's just some guys. Doesn't matter. I didn't have them cut up, but pretty much every building I was in, I tried to put stickers on the walls.
There you go.
So,
see, we don't think about that. We got stickers.
That he took a picture of that. It was basically like this weird, just not even. It's a grappling dummy. It's made for, I guess, wrestlers, high school wrestler, pro wrestler, semi-pro, what I don't know. But dude, that thing weighed 120 pounds dry. We bought it off a guy on Craigslist that had it stored in his backyard. It was soaked with water. It probably weighed 280 pounds.
Shit.
That thing, we let it drip dry forever, and I don't think it ever quite.
Damn straight. I'll send you a sticker. Send me your address.
Dry and back to its original weight, but dude, that thing was a beast. We actually had it in a wheelchair, and it was acting like the governor upstairs. No one ever quite got to rescue the governor from the UFF side, but they were supposed to get upstairs and rescue the governor by any means necessary. He was going to get changed into a suit or whatever, a different suit. And we were all standing by, like, please, somebody get them, and I want to see them just push that asshole down the.
Now, what I was gonna say, like, what's enemy list? Because I'm throwing shit out of windows.
Well, funny enough, the window that was closest, there was like a steel or tin roof awning. And we're like, man, what happens if a player like throws him out the window and he just gets stuck and he's got a leg dangling? I'm like, tell everybody to get away, and then one guy has to just jump up and grab him and pull him down, and we're gonna catch it on video. But it was one of those missions that was really tough. It was basically at the 80-yard line for the team that was trying to do it, and it was just kind of too hard to get to. And it was a real shame. I mean, we don't want to see everybody complete every mission, but we wanted
to see that one. I'm sorry.
I
wanted to see that one. I would have tried to tailor that one to happen. Yeah, I was gonna put that up too, Mike. Good job. For you guys again, he's Corey or Cuban B said, without scenario producers, Solstice Law wouldn't be where we are. Much love to all you guys. Thank you for what you do. So I mean, that's kudos to you guys for producing events and giving those guys something to do.
Yeah, it was fun, man. We're looking forward to the next one, and we do have a one-day coming up in June 12th at Tanks Paintball in Houston. But it'll be, like I said, we'll have breaks and stuff like that, like Eli was describing with his reclamation, because we want to do something to keep everybody's attention. But summer months in Texas are tough. If you don't give them breaks, 2 days are pretty much out because they're spent. And then January, same weekend it's Martin Luther King Jr. weekend.
It's perfect.
That we picked, which was great for travel. And the reason we picked that, just FYI, is we went to Enigma in Indiana, and it was a 4-day weekend or three-day weekend. So we only had to take 1 day off of work to get there, and then the other day coming back, we were able to just drive on Monday.
Right.
So it worked out really well. And with the exception of this past 5-6 days, Texas winters are really mild. They're almost like pristine paintball weather. Usually 60s, mostly not raining, but we've had some unusual weather the last 7 days here.
So there are Septembers, basically. There are our Septembers.
Yeah, and that's when we were. We were Labor Day weekend at Blast Camp Paintball. It was awesome. It was like 72 degrees, cloudy, partly sunny with like 5-mile-an-hour breeze. It was the greatest paintball weather ever.
Yep.
And we got about the same thing in January, so we got really lucky.
Yeah, February is pretty good the whole year is pretty good during the winter in Arizona. We do get people that get heat exhaustion in February. I've had several people overexert themselves. Even in December, we've seen people go to the hospital for not hydrating properly or playing too hard, not paying attention to their body in Arizona. It's just 80. Sometimes it hits 80 degrees. Next week, I think we're going to be in the 80s for this event.
Yeah.
So
just rub it in. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, wait, what's going on over there?
I was there in August at the Grand Canyon, and then after that, I went to Page, Arizona, and I remember thinking, wow, like as soon as you step in the shade, it's so cool. You don't feel yourself getting as hot, even though it's 100 and something, because of the dry heat. But man, I was like cognizant of it. Like I was thinking about it. So I was drinking water. Lips will dry out. Chapstick's a must. It will dry you out, but you won't feel hot. And so it's really tricky. I can see that being you get playing paintball and you go Phoenix, 5 hours.
You feel hot. You step outside, it's just like 120 degrees. It's brutal.
I meant like just hiking and walking around. It was fun.
It's just
playing paintball is a whole different thing.
We have a mountain range in the center of Phoenix called Camelback Mountain, and it's fairly high, but we probably daily throughout the year, but especially as we get closer to the summer, people come from out of state, and they Casey Casey's a friend of mine. Reclamation one, well, I'll go back to that, but people will climb up and they'll get airlifted down because they didn't bring water.
Yeah.
Dude.
You talking about the mountain range?
Yeah. So Casey, one of the AZ guys, has played since Reclamation 1. He's like 8 feet tall. I'm joking. He's 7 feet tall. He's huge. And he broke his foot at Reclamation 1 and kept playing all day. And then he shows up a week later in a cast at a field just hanging out. So
that's dedication right there, man.
These are
and they're green. It's green. It's green.
One of them. So It doesn't look very big, but on a 3D printer, man, this is a bitch to print. And so I printed one of these. It's a dropship. I was going to put it on some sort of chest rig, but it's just going to go on a big ass pole. And the mechanism of it is the guy holding it is the dropship, and it's high enough that it'll tower over buildings. The pole will be. And I think I'm just going to do. I haven't attached it to a pole yet. I think I'm just going to do just an aluminum pole, retractable aluminum pole. From Home Depot, and that way it's easy to transport. It's not PVC, and so the guy holding it will be able to pick up and drop people off into buildings and outside of buildings. But it's important that the visibility is there, one, to scare the shit out of the other team, and two, so that guy doesn't get lit up. And so I want people to be able to see that. It doesn't look big, but from a distance, this big red floaty thing. Right. Green. The green one is Halo dropship.
Okay. Well, see, so that reminds me of, like I said, what's going on with the arcade events where they have the boat. So what we'll be doing for Pirate Game is boat. So we'll have a boat on us that, so, and that's the same thing.
I 100% stole it from TV.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah, they told me it. I'm like, I'm doing that, but I'm not wearing that chest rig.
Right. So yeah, I mean, you guys got anything else y'all want to talk about?
I mean, I don't want to give away everything, but we got a couple of props sitting over here.
Don't you gotta give away. Save it.
Yeah, I don't got no giveaways. All right. I mean, maybe a mother of all patch.
Like, here, I'll go this far because this doesn't look like anything yet. But this is just me working out the kinks on some other thing. Basically, if you remember that Sam site that you saw, there's some pictures on our Facebook page.
I got one.
That thing is, it's somewhat inert at the moment. I mean, you still had to find a little PVC.
Me and you talked about this. Yeah.
We did? Okay.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh, yeah. That's right. On the phone. That's right.
Yep.
So, we're going to make that thing kind of Frankenstein. It's going to come alive. I already talked to Zombie. He's going to get that thing over to my garage. He's in Dallas. I'm in Austin. It's 3 hours everywhere in Texas, pretty much. But, we're going to get it over here, and we're going to pull it apart a little bit, and then we're going to make it where we can put some spring-loaded, little catches in it. And teams are going to need to come up. They're going to need to know. They're going to have an RFID chip. Yeah, that thing. There you go. They're going to need to have an RFID chip. They're going to need to know the code and put both the RFID chip up to it and then punch in the right coordinates. And that thing's going to friggin' turn. And then it'll illuminate the ability to flick a couple of switches and actually fire that thing off. It's probably going to be something that really does fire off. I'm not going to go any further. We're going to figure out how to make it safe.
Yeah, exactly.
We talked about doing some things. We're like, oh, we could use a firework or something. I was like, oh, we're already using fireworks to like start and stop the game at each segment. So I was like, I don't want to confuse people with, a giant mortar going off in the middle of the game, and everybody think it's a stand down or the game's over or something like that. So we're gonna tweak that a little bit, but we'll have some sort of like producer exception to the pyrotechnic rule, but it'll be safe.
Okay. Well, I mean, listen, I don't think this is the end of this at all. Personally, I think a couple of people wanted to know if they could use your schematic. A couple of people did want to know if they could do that. So
if you can read it, you can go right ahead. That's all good.
Okay.
Because all I don't want someone to come to my game and
know what's going on.
Same it was last time, but that's on me because I can rewire it. So yeah, go ahead.
Okay, cool. I just want to make sure.
I'm making a simplified version of that in a smaller briefcase for Caesar, who's doing a one-day event up there at Blast Camp or something like that. So he reached out to me. We went back and forth. And I was like, man, this thing looks really sketch going in the mail. And so I had to like check a few things and figure out if I could ship something like that. And I was like, you're going to have to do the last like 5% of it on your own there because I don't want to mail certain things in the mail that look like that.
Right.
And so he's like, yeah, that's cool. So
I showed you mine. Like I said, the little prop bomb I made. It looks like it got Steve for it. Yeah.
We never used.
I mean, we haven't had the opportunity to use it yet, man.
Hey, just keep plugging it around. You'll find a use for it eventually.
Exactly. Well, I mean, I'm writing a game, so I'm using it in my game. I'm writing a mini game, so I'm using it in my game. This is what TV sent me. This is the harness you said you don't want to wear.
I just don't want to build it. It's not like
what is that one?
Pull up.
So
Yeah.
that topper he had, it goes onto that exposed pole, and then that lets people know what you are, whether
Oh,
you're
the drop ship.
yeah.
I got you.
Yeah.
Okay.
So then
Or
you got a
pirate ship or
a
whatever.
pirate ship, right? Exactly. So for us, it'd be a pirate ship. We have a pirate ship on it.
I got you. Okay. All
Yeah.
right.
All right. So like, go ahead, Mike. What you about to say?
I wasn't about to say nothing. I like all of it. I took it all in. That was.
Well,
It's
you
like,
guys
we don't
are-
have anything as complex like that.
We don't.
And
Well,
that's what I
actually,
want.
Matt's what was it? It was a count. I forget
The domination box.
Yeah, I mean, you do a little bit of programming. None of my stuff has any Raspberry Pi or Arduino programming. I don't know how to do that stuff. Like, I won't work on it. I got one guy that's on our team that is
Wolf asked,
Has some
real quick.
programming.
Wolf asked, did you have any vids of any of you guys props in action?
any vid. Yes, in the video that we're gonna release, there should be some stuff going on. We also did do a teaser trailer. We did some MagFed and limited ammo meetups before our event. We did release a few. I'll find a way to get a hold of Wolf and send him those, because that shows this little one. I'll show you this little one real fast. So we had a couple of props where someone had to. I mean, looks like nothing, right? But you strap this to an Enola Gay, and then it's. Oh yeah, there you go. You got it right there.
Yep.
Perfect. So I don't know if they can also see me live here, but you flick this thing on and it's armed or disarmed, and then once it's armed, you click this, and it'll set off whatever you want. So we strapped it to an Enola Gay.
That's tight.
And
I like that.
I want to make that.
oh, it's easy.
Yeah,
I got the schematics. It's simple.
Man.
But,
please.
yeah, so you just duct tape this or electrical tape this to an Enola Gay or to a buzzer or to something else that sets off with a little pulse, and you can make it do whatever you want. I mean, that's why I said about the whole thing about shipping certain things. I was like,
Yeah.
But this is basically a fireworks starter, and I just hook it to an Enola Gay. Somebody can, burn down a building or set off a signal flare or whatever. You just strap it to whatever color Enola Gay you want, and you're good to go. You just have to pull out the pull string and replace it with an electric match, and you're ready to roll. But yeah, so that's something. I don't know what brought this up right before I brought it out. What'd you say a second ago? You're talking about something that you can. Oh, it's in the video. Excuse me. Wolf asked, "Is there a video of it going off?" So there's videos of this. There's a couple of videos with a few other props involved that are small, but we try to just tease the game without showing the big bomb prop or the big water pump, fuel pump prop or any of that stuff. But
You got to. You got to, though, yeah.
I mean, some of it's got to be a mystery. The only reason I'm sharing it with you now is we had 126 people that probably have GoPro footage of it, so it doesn't matter. And we got other stuff coming down the pipeline that didn't make it into the game, including that keypad thing and whatever else. But that stuff should be in full swing with definitely the January game, but most likely the June one-day game as well. We'll find a way to incorporate.
Yeah, those single-day games are a good way to tease out some of the concepts. And
Yeah.
I agree.
fall flat.
Yeah, because again, so what I need you two to do is to work together, come up with some shit that then we can use and play around with at one of these events.
Well, I want somebody besides, probably I speak for him too. I want somebody else besides the two of us to do it because I want to play these games. I'm just trying to set.
Well, I'm gonna bring. Then we're gonna bring it up Midwest, and then I'll have it, and then you play the game. That way you can play with your stuff, but my imagination, so to say.
Perfect.
All right, sounds good.
That's what I want. So yeah, that's why that's why I wanted to do this for sure. It's because again, I know you guys are doing it. And like I said, Burke, me and you talked on the phone for about maybe an hour, 2 hours, maybe about the differences
I took a long ass lunch break, and I was nobody said anything when I went back to the office, but that was all good. But so actually, I was sitting there, I was apologizing because I was sitting there like I think I was eating Chick-fil-A or something. I'm like, just like wolfing it down. I'm like, dude, I'm sorry. I'm just like chewing and eating and talking.
No, it was right up my alley. I was good. It was right up my alley because again, it was all the stuff that I was interested in, all the stuff I wanted to do. So TB is asking you to come play RTT in October.
Say again.
TB is asking, I think both of you guys to come play RTT in October.
I think
Sherwood.
I think he sent a message to us about that.
I did.
Sherwood, but
I did. I sent a message to the team.
Okay.
Trying to get you to come play with me because I'm commanding that event.
Okay. All right. Well, we do a team vote. I mean, we're pretty. We have a little round, Knights of the Round Table type thing where everybody's got equal votes. So we'll throw it up there. Send me the information again, and I'll post it on our team chat when we come up on the last quarter of the year to vote on our schedule.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
Is it a 2-day game?
It is.
Okay,
And it's night play. Texas Night Stalkers. I mean, it fits. It's right there with
There
it.
you go. We'll be
I'll see
there
if I can
most
work
likely
with
if we
him.
can be for that one because
Yeah,
night play is
yeah.
a big hook, line, and sinker for us.
Lacey, see, I'm going against Lacey, so you say you better be recruited. Of course I am, Lacey. Of course I am. I'm trying to. I need everybody I can get going up against him. But yeah, so like I said, we got another guest in the back, Dreads, aka David Brown. He wanted to ask you guys a couple questions about props too, and then he wanted to say some stuff too. So if you guys will stick around after he asks you a couple questions, up to you guys. Sure. But I know he wanted to ask you a couple questions. Mike, you can bring him in.
How you doing, gentlemen?
Hey, how's it going?
Hey, man, it was awesome to watch you guys, and you guys are makers. First and foremost, makers. That's a special group of people, I think, to be in. Myself, could you guys hear me?
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
Okay. First of all, the electronics that you're doing and stuff, they look magnificent, especially the simple ones. Like one of the last ones that you were just showing there where you have the switch to be able to, that one.
Yeah, dude,
that's beautiful.
This is just
to
a
be able to
9
pull
volt.
off.
Yeah, this is just a 9-volt, a little tiny plastic box, a simple switch, and then a remote relay that's already programmed to do. I didn't do anything. I just bought it and plugged it into the right wires, and it's on Amazon for like $10. Whole
Right.
thing cost probably $20.
And I'm a guy that designs systems at work. So whenever you walk up to a machine and it has a touch screen that makes robots run,
Mhm.
that's kind of my thing.
Nice.
So I love the simplicity of what you've done there. And that's that. Now, I could build something that's way better than anything that you've shown on the show. And it's going to cost me 10 grand, by the time that I buy all these crazy PLCs and stuff to run it. Now, Arduinos are great. Don't get me wrong. Raspberry Pis. I'm not a Raspberry Pi guy. I do love Arduinos.
Yeah, I don't know anything about any of that stuff. I don't know what's good or bad. I just hear the terms, but wonder about all of it.
But I love what you've done with simplicity. The box that you were showing earlier, with the cable connectors that you had and the key switches.
It's all analog. It's all analog.
Very well done. Very well done.
Thank you.
You can do things like that I'm building a rocket right now. Quite simply, it's just a rocket with a smoke grenade in the end of it. A lot of fields don't want to allow a Enola gaze and stuff, right?
I don't know.
So I want something. I have in my head kind of a scenario where two teams have opposing rockets. It's your job to disarm their rocket, but also get your rocket going. And you guys take this and run with it.
That sounds a lot
especially
like what we did in a way. And in a lot of ways, that's how what we kind of did with the ticking briefcases on each side type thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I'm just speaking what I've had in my head, things that I've been kind of working on. So there's a hatch that you open up on the rocket.
Mm-hmm.
Now it takes a key to open that. We're going to have to go out and we're going to have to fight and uncover a lockbox. We open that lockbox and it has a key. Now you have to fight your way to the rocket. You're able to open a hatch on it. There's wires in there to cut. If you cut the wrong wire, then it uses a device like what you have put on this show that would trip the Enola Gay out of the end of it. Or if it's a regular smoke grenade, whatever. There's lots of possibilities with what you guys are doing.
Yeah. And that's the thing is that right now it's just we hooked it up to when you set off the briefcase or you set off really everything that gets set off is either a buzzer or it's an Enola Gay.
Right.
I don't really know what else to do that's not without risking safety. Um,
I have one.
well, I'm all ears then.
Yeah.
Incorporate, and I told both of these guys from Mutant this whenever I was just chatting with them earlier before ever even getting on. One of the biggest things that I want to see more and more promoters do is promote our young guns. So work on your scenarios. You guys are obviously head and tails above anything that I'm going to come up with. So incorporate by every aspect of the means the young guns. Make your scenarios where our young guns have to be involved with commanders. Get the commanders out of the tent.
Okay.
Right? Good. That's always a thing. A lot of people, more and more I'm seeing people that they enjoy commanding games. They enjoy promoting games, but I think you said it earlier best. You want other people to run it because you want to go play these games that you're creating, right?
Yeah.
So let's get these commanders out of the tent. Let's get more and more of the young guns. Now, I don't know how everything goes out there out west where you guys are at. Around here, they're doing a lot of games where, it's simple props, where maybe it has white stripes on it. And if it has a white stripe on it, your young guns have a white stripe on their arm. You have to be a white stripe to recover that prop. And that's only young guns, 16 years old and younger.
Okay. All right. Yeah, that works. I mean,
So,
I guess the only thing is you got to kind of you need to have a balance of the teams to make sure you got enough young guns. Because but yeah, I mean, as long as if
Absolutely.
there's only two, it's easy to involve two. I guess that works to your point.
But let's think about this. There's not a single one of us that are sitting here that's a young man.
Yeah.
So
Right.
Can I add to this? Because I actually had two last year for Reclamation 3. I had two commanders, dual commander brothers, and a commander from my own team, Wasteland Warriors, command. And one was 17. The boys were 15 and 16, I believe, maybe 17. Right.
Awesome.
It was an awesome concept. So here's what happened. One of the players, the teenagers, for one of the sides, loved them. They just wanted to play, so there was no command. Their dad, who normally I rely on for command for that side, ended up picking up the slack, which is fine. The commander for the other side, it overwhelmed him. Nobody was listening to him. Nobody would follow him. And I told him this from the beginning, like, hey, it's not your job to tell people what to do. They're not going to listen to you anyways because it's paintball.
Right.
And so at the end of the day, he, halfway through the day, he was completely overwhelmed, and I don't blame him. And so I agree that there has to be an aspect that gets as many players involved. Anytime you add complexity to it and you start segmenting people off into roles, it has to be well thought out. I'll give you a good example. For Reclamation 4, I had this awesome idea, and I'll implement it in the future, that the player cards have a pre-designated role in them. Like, hey, you're a medic. Hey, you're a Marine. Hey, you're a scientist, right?
And I like that. I like that.
Randomly, and if you have enough players and you have enough of those classes, you can get enough people to want to jump on and do that. The problem is one, that adds to the production complexity. You've got to find, if you don't have your own printing capacity or sticker capacity or card capacity, now you've got to find a way to create more of those. Two, it creates more training that you have to do at the event and more things that you got to track. So now you have to increase your personnel. And if you don't have a team that's going to back you, you've got to hire those people to do it. So there's a lot of things that I would like to implement and utilize. But at the end of the day, what I found is that having dumb shit like trinkets, like Among Us trinkets, like patches, rewards, and stuff like that a random player can go get. They don't have to contribute to the game but they get to go like take this and put it on their desk at home. Those are things that are going to bring those younger players in, and newer players and older players, that I found, rather than just focusing entirely on a certain segment. Because if you focus on that segment, some kids are just going to fucking rise up, and they're really going to rise. But a lot of kids, it's too much. It's too much pressure for them to be able to carry that load. And
I can see that. I can see that. That's an amazing point, that some kids aren't going to want to rise up to that. And I've been part of games with these two gentlemen above you here that we're really getting on these kids. Hey, I need a young gun. Let's do this. Let's do that. And you'll see them just stand there holding a gun.
Yeah. So,
but at the same time, anything that we can do to involve these young people and get them go, it just make them feel alive, make them feel part of it.
Speaking of young guns, I have a family that's waiting for me to end so I can get them in bed.
Yeah, I'll go.
Yeah. And my wife's super gracious, but any further minutes and I'm in the garage.
Well, we're not trying to keep you guys.
Yeah.
Thank you for coming
family
on,
first, buddy. Family definitely first.
Thank you for coming on, sharing.
Yeah,
loved it.
Yeah, Burke, man, it was great chatting with you. I'm happy to.
All you guys.
Yeah, love to bounce that off more. But I'm gonna jet. Thank you, and happy to be on it another time.
Yep.
No doubt, Eli. I appreciate it. Hey,
it was great seeing you, and it was great seeing you and all of your brilliant ideas. I really do appreciate you. Appreciate your promotion.
Hey, no problem. Thanks. Thank you guys all. Thanks for having me on.
Yep.
All right, no doubt. Anytime. We'll get you back on here. Thank you, guys.
All right, see you.
All right.
So let's see.
So where you at? Where you at then? Where the young man at?
Thomas took off and went home. He's got a little lady coming over to his house.
Oh.
He said he was going to watch and maybe pop on here in a little bit.
All right. So, well,
now
we'll do this. We'll do this real quick.
Know what that is about? That is our very first game.
Editing. Your video editing is so much better than mine. That's why I don't even post anything, because I'm like, well, screw it, whatever. Throw that in the trash.
On. Well, Thomas isn't on, but he's on so we can talk about Okinawa.
Their team, his co-captain, is that what he is? Technically?
That's what we do. It's co-captain. He calls himself captain. I call myself captain, and quite frankly, we started playing paintball together and just absolutely love this crap. So, anybody can look at it however they want, and we're perfectly fine with the other one calling themselves captain because we feel like we're co-captains. Here, look. Hey, Google. Change the computer light to white.
All right, changing the computer to white.
There you go.
I didn't like the way my face looked all pink.
That's all right. So yeah. So like I said, that'll be our very first. Hey, Mike, I appreciate you watching, man. Thank you. Look, having Burke on was a pleasure, was a joy for me, Mike. So thank you for watching. Thank you for tuning in. I really do appreciate it. But yeah. So the ad spot that Mike just ran, it's our first game of the year. It'll be White Rivers Operation Okinawa. This man's, like I said, co-captain. You see the banner in the background, Tactical Shenanigans. That is who the commander is for the blue team, for the Allied forces. His name is Thomas Mad Dog Russell.
Mad Dog.
So yeah, we are playing for Mad Dog. So I want to address it. I got to address it. So the reason why we didn't promote that event personally, because first we didn't know we was going to be able to make it. The reason why is because COVID, my wife was having issues, there was nothing going on. And then when we decided we were going, we wanted to give the opportunity for both sides to be as even as possible. Now, call it bullheaded, call it stubborn, call it arrogant, cocky, whatever the fuck you want to call it. We didn't want to say we were going to the event and then cause people to say, okay, well, since they're going, we're going to go, and then what side y'all playing for? So we chose not to announce for that purpose alone.
I like it.
So
I like it.
Once we decided that we were going to that event, we like I said, we just did everything in the background. I pre-reg, I did everything I needed to do, but nobody knew, but we were always 100% going to roll with Thomas as his first command. When I had my first command, you guys were there to roll for me. It's only right that I return the favor.
Yeah.
I like that.
So that's how that works.
And here's the thing. You guys know that I have really, really enjoyed playing with you guys. You guys know that we have a brotherhood going on. You guys have an amazing team. That's absolutely awesome. You guys have grown and done great things. And let's talk about the Legionnaires for a second.
Unfold
one of the Legionnaires. Oh, he just popped on my screen. The dude I wanted to talk about.
Unfold your arms. Dewan, smile.
Dewan has been an amazing dude. He's been fun to play with. Absolutely. I have zero regrets at this point with any friends that I've made and people that I've played with. And just I think a thing that gets lost in the shadows every once in a while is, the camaraderie. How much we actually enjoy being around each other.
Yeah.
I feel like that gets lost sometimes because it's all about who's promoting what. And, I want to talk more about what you guys were talking about earlier, getting young guns involved. And I want these to be the kind of issues that we talk about in paintball. I got my kid involved in this, and he fell in love. Even my wife goes to events with me, and it's me and my best friend. This is just kind of what we do. And I feel like I've made some of the best friends in my life playing paintball and out there with you guys. I want to keep it that way. But it doesn't necessarily mean that we always have to play on this side or that side. And I feel like going into Monster Game with Dwan commanding and you guys on the roster, and then throwing Wolf on the roster along with that, everybody's going to want to play. Everybody's going to want to play that side.
Hey, Dwan, mute the other one. Who was that? That you, Mike?
That is the one.
Okay.
You there with us, buddy?
No, he good. So go ahead.
What?
No. David was talking. He was saying about Monster Game.
Look at all these flags and trophies this dude's got sitting in his room. Can you move that camera and show me a little bit more of that? That's what I'm talking about. That's who Dwan Mitchell is. He's a leader.
Thank you. I'm tired. It was a good show, though.
I mean, I thought it was. Like I said, we got the witching hour where we always end up at.
Right.
But yeah, so to your point, like I said, so one thing for me, man, I can give two shits where a person play. I really do. I really don't care. If you playing paintball, I'm fine with it. My thing is respect. I'm gonna take it. If it's not, I'm gonna earn it. I should say. I'm sorry. I'm gonna earn it. And if I don't earn it, it is what it is. But I don't do this shit to be liked. I do this shit because I like to play it.
Right. And
that's realistically what it is.
And full disclosure, I will never say anything about you that I won't say to you.
Okay. I appreciate
and like
that.
Me and Dwan was talking about just the other day, whatever me and him was on the phone. I want to make sure that people aren't getting so caught up in the promotional aspect of it that we spend more time up at the top than we do out there beast balling. Now, you know damn well, all of you guys, that's how all of us met, was on the field beast balling.
Yep.
That's what I do. And all the rest of it, don't really give two fucks about until people start fighting and bickering and arguing.
Well, okay, so we go in there. So I felt I'm gonna bring it up. So I felt like your comment that you made on that post was about me. And I'm fine with that, 100% fine with that. The expensive shit stuff, the stuff that's all me. That's what I do. That's what I say.
It wasn't just you. It's
a
whole lot of people.
I get it, but I felt it was at me, which is fine, which is cool. Again, I don't do it so that people will like me, right? That's a gimmick for me that people fell in love with and like. It was fun. Now, the reason why I comment on that post is because there were 3 other posts that did take shots directly at myself and Dewan. So, and then that one was subliminal shots. I addressed it, which I'm going to always do. I'm going to always stand in my shit and address it head on. I don't throw shots. I talk directly.
Right.
So
absolutely.
that's what my response to that post was. And I saw that you got on there and you said what you said about it. And again, I felt that was towards me. I reached out to you. We had a small conversation. And then that was the end of it. But again, because I thought that me and you were better than that, I reached out directly to you because I felt you had a problem with me.
No.
And because of that purpose, I was like, okay, cool. So the issue isn't necessarily about what's going on in the thread. It's me. Cool, fine. But like I said it before and I'm going to say it now. I don't do what I do for the masses. There are 21 people in this chat right now watching this show. I do it for those 21. I can give a shit if the 22, 23rd, 24th care. I don't care. Me and Mike grind all day, every day to make our mutant paintball presence what it is today.
And ask Dewan. I told him that's what I love about you guys is your grind. Because that's why you've gotten so popular so fast.
And Dave, I don't even think we're popular.
Your grind.
I don't think we're popular.
Oh, you're popular.
We have a base. No, we have a base.
You're more
people.
popular than what you think. You're more popular than what you believe, and you're doing one hell of a good job.
And that's the thing. We're not letting that get to our heads.
Right, and that's the thing. Like you know what I'm saying. I do this because the man that's next to me gave me a path.
Gave us an opportunity.
I'm the type of motherfucker though. You crack that dope. I'm gonna walk through that bitch. Right. You know what I'm saying? That's who I am now. But also, you got to understand the thing about me too. Also, my job or my mentality is execution. I game plan so long, then I execute. I don't game plan for days, hours, weeks. Just to talk about real quick, the player card shit. He came on the show a month ago, had an idea. That idea for me, and Dewan noticed, that shit was executed for me that night. My shit was done that night, and it was fun for us. To have fun and to be able to go to a field. I mean, you brought up the kids, right? To be able to go to a field. You said that we got to follow them. I don't think we're that popular. What if a kid come up and say, hey, man, I watched our YouTube channel. And the trinket I can get to that kid is a card. A card of me. Call it conceited, that's fine. But it's something that he said, I watch your YouTube. I know who you are. And now he got this player card of me that he can go home and do whatever the fuck he wants. Throw the shit away. Throw the bitch away if you want to. It ain't going to hurt my feelings. But that's why I do it. I do it for that purpose. I don't care about the popularity, man.
Now, just since you brought up the player card thing, me and Dwan was talking about that the other day.
Mm-hmm.
And Dwan was saying that's intended to be a little bit more kind of a game type thing.
Yes. So
I guess I haven't really understood that.
I have a phase 2 and a phase 3 for that. Phase 1 is just everybody get one to have fun with. Do what you want with it. It can be digital. You can get them made and printed if you want to. But it's fun for like when I see Dewan at White River, I'm going to get one of his cards. Although I got his cards at my house because they came to me. I'm going to give them to him. Then we going to trade. It's just to have each other's cards. There's nothing else but that.
Or trade whatever they got.
So correct me if I'm wrong, but kind of what are the things that Mutant did so well, and whichever one of you was responsible for that was your swag. Whenever you guys were showing up to games,
that'd be me.
Man, all of a sudden,
it's all purchased out of my own money, I am a father of
you had poker
3
chips
and a wife. That's all me.
You had poker chips, you had wrist bracelets and
poker chips, wrist
it's kind of the poker chip thing was the one that really got me because I was working on some coins and stuff, and I kind of gave up on that after seeing your damn poker chips because I was like, well, shit, I done been outdone.
Hey Ryan,
You know?
Ryan, hit me in the box, man. I'll tell you what's going on. Ain't nothing, Ryan. Just some friends having a flat out conversation at this point in time. We had a prop show for about an hour and 20 minutes, and now we just some friends hashing out a misunderstanding. Basically, I'm gonna call it that.
So there ain't no misunderstanding. If that's the way we're gonna look at this, I'll pop up here right now. We'll do this through some messaging or something.
Right, but no, ain't nothing like that. No, I like what we doing here. I'm okay with it because again, like I said, Dave, I'm upfront with everything I got.
Let me be clear. Like I said, full disclosure. I ain't gonna say anything about you that I won't say to you.
Copy that.
Here's the thing. If I have two best friends that are standing around fighting and bickering with each other, I'm gonna tell both of them that you're idiots. Get over it. Suck it up. Pull your dick out of the fucking mud and move the fuck on. But that's what I'm seeing, is because I have so many paintball friends. Guess what? The three of you are not my only paintball friends.
They're not. Okay? And I see my thing was this, David. I thought I had a paintball friend.
I'm seeing so many people fighting and bickering and arguing. That is just.
You want to know why? But you want to know why though? Because they won't do what we're doing right now, which is having a conversation. They want to they want to be subliminal about it and then not expect to be called out on it. I call that shit out. That's the difference with me. If I call it out, there's no subliminal to me. I don't do subliminals.
Well, but sometimes.
No, it was real.
Nah, sometimes
why?
Let it go.
Why? I don't have the not the ability. I don't have the possibility to let it go.
Well, you do. It's just something that you care a little too much about.
No, about me as a man, yes. About the reputation that I have.
You're passionate. You're passionate. That's what I'm trying to say. You're a very passionate individual. And I like that.
Right. So that's all it is for me. For me, it's just that. You know what I'm saying? Like, if it's about me, if somebody's speaking directly about me, I'm going to defend myself. I have that right. And what you saw was me letting it go several times until that particular moment. Because I let it go several times. I have done that. I've done that for months now, actually. Realistically, I've done that for months. This isn't something that was just a one-day thing. This was months that led up to it.
Well, what did I say in my post that made you think that I was talking about you?
You said we don't care about their expensive gun and stuff like that. That's me 100%.
So you're the only one. Are you telling me you're the only one that shows up with expensive guns?
Not at all, but I'm the only one to talk about it.
I mean, people showing up with Mac Devs and stuff.
I got all of them. But I'm the only one that talk about it openly. Nobody else talk about it openly. But I did it as a joke, something that my friends, I have a
20-year-old Tipman that I have a grand in. You know why? Because it's a museum quality piece. It is the one and only factory auto mechanical gun ever produced, and it's serial number 14.
Oh wait, hold on. One thing. I want to let people know there's nothing wrong here. We just you guys are just watching the conversation. Don't worry. Don't think that there's no issues here, nothing like that. Yeah, there's no issues here at all. Don't think that. I don't want people to think that. We're just having the conversation.
You know what?
Go ahead, Dewan.
I closed my window. I can't even see chat. I can't even see what people are saying right now.
Dewan, you got to unmute yourself. I can't unmute you, Dewan. You got to unmute yourself.
I did unmute myself.
Yeah, there you go. There you are, Dewan.
I probably was fucking asleep over here.
But I mean, do you want to go to sleep? Because goddamn,
Dewan, I feel like you grew like 14 gray hairs since we started this conversation.
No. Listen. You know what I mean? Everybody's not gonna always agree. You know what I mean? And that's fine. You know what I mean? And like I told you in the conversation, what may be for us may not be for you. You know what I mean? Or what, you know what I mean? And it's okay. You know what I mean? We can be able to disagree and still maintain a friendship. Period.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? But if something means something to one person, you know what I mean? Just because you don't understand it, you can't call it bullshit. You know what I mean? It's just simple. He's not going to sit there and let someone say anything to him and him not step up. It's not in his character to do that. So who is either one of us to say, hey, he's wrong for that? You know what I mean? That's him. That's his makeup. let him be that. You know what I mean? And we as friends, if
Okay.
we didn't support him, you know what I mean, and whatever decision that he make, whether it's right or wrong, that's what friendship is about.
Support me and call me out on it. I'm okay
You know what I
with
mean?
that too.
Yeah, I'll call him out too. Because there've been times that I've called him out on some things, and he called me out on things. You know what I mean? But like he'd be like, "Hey, Dewan, hey, that was wrong." You know what I mean? For instance, we had with one other player. I heard a player's feelings. You know what I mean? And I was like, "Man, fuck that." Matt was like, "No, we don't roll like that. Go and address that." You know what I mean? And that's
Hold
not
the
happening.
phone. Dwan hurt somebody's feelings.
Oh, Dewan was going. Dewan
Yeah.
was going. Oh
Listen.
no, he was fucking going.
Dwan
You know what I mean?
loves to get wound up whenever he's
Yeah.
commanding and stuff.
Now I wouldn't even
Why do you
command.
think I want to play? You think I want to play for somebody that is just kind of laid back, like, yeah, you guys just do whatever, and kind of, oh, there's the moon, there's the stars over there. No, I don't want to play for a person like that. I want to play with people that have some passion.
I mean,
I
we
got
always
a ton of that, but
we always are gonna play on the same team.
the
Simple.
passion beside, yeah. I mean, and again, the passion for me is the sport, right? That's where the passion comes from. But I'm also not gonna let anyone just talk about me in general, because again, that's what happened. It was a conversation about me. Hey, all right, fuck Lacey. You're right, exactly. But we can do that though. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is, Dave. Like I said, man, ain't no hard feeling like that. But I just felt that was about me, and I tried to reach out and let you know, hey, I support you. You know what I'm saying? I get that maybe
Absolutely.
I'm not moving the way you want me to move, or doing the things that you would expect.
And you know what's awesome about that? I appreciate so much the fact that you reached out to me. Dwan also reached out to me. 5 other teams reached out to me. So, man, don't think about quitting. Because my very last sentence was, fuck you all.
And you know something? And when I'd have seen you again, I'd have told you.
And he's gone.
That's typical Dwan shit
This
right
fucking
there.
internet said, no, shut up.
Dewan can't take knowledge. That's all that is.
Oh,
No.
shit.
You know what? While Dwan's gone, you guys know that I love you. You guys know I was there from your day one, right? Your first game back.
You were not our first game back. Shit, that was technically our second big game that we met you. That's the second big game we met you. We met Dewan. The thing was, because you're not. So here's the full thing though. You're not the only one that thought that, right? We've had to deal with people saying that, oh well, who the fuck are y'all? And y'all shouldn't have what you got so quick. That's our fucking grind. That's our grind.
Your grind is ridiculous, ridiculously over the top. And I'm gonna have to talk to Grizz here in a minute. I just noticed that keyboard that he's using. That's got to be a Black Widow.
Shit. My wife knows the name of it. She bought it for me. I have no idea what it is.
Well, here, because I'm a Razer keyboard whore. And just because this motherfucker like $250. It weighs like 9 pounds.
I got my little El Cheapo Tango.
You might have seen it here in the background a minute ago. My motherfucking cat done chewed a hole in this thing.
You back to one?
Fuck this laptop.
Whoa, calm down.
See that?
Calm down.
Yo,
See
cat.
that?
Oh yeah, fuck that.
Oh,
that.
Dwan, I was just showing him the cord that I'm going to use to strangle you. No, my damn cat chewed a hole in this thing and screwed this keyboard up.
Yeah, but like I said, if you ever decide to quit paintball because motherfuckers sitting there going back and forth with each other, shame on you. You the fool. For real. I'm calling it the way it is. You know what I mean? People gonna continue to do that shit. They've been doing that shit before you and I even started playing the fucking.
Well,
you know
first of all, I would
fuck
quit
out.
paintball.
To me.
I would just quit traveling with all the fools that's pissing me off. So shame on you for saying that out loud.
Well, hey, the way it came out.
I mean, we could look at this 1,000 different ways, and I'm not one to
we
challenge. And I don't really want to do a whole bunch of mental gymnastics with somebody that just wants to say shame on you.
There we go. That's the name.
Because that's not exactly what I do.
It's
a big world out there. We can find a lot of different places to play paintball, right?
Now, but you know what though?
Exactly
but that's
what
how I feel though. But that's how I feel though. Yes, we can, and everybody's willing to do it. But if you say my name or say something in reference to me, I'm going to address it, no matter where you at. I don't care if you not playing paintball in Michigan at all. If my name or my likeness for that even matter comes out of your mouth somewhere, I'm gonna address it.
You just spent an hour talking to dudes from Arizona
about props. I sure did.
You are all over the country,
right?
You guys, are known all over the country at this point, right?
But my thing is, I'm
gonna control my narrative. That
though.
Good of a job.
Yeah, but I'm gonna control my narrative. I'm not gonna let somebody say something about me that's not true. I'm gonna address it. That's all I'm saying. I'm gonna control my own narrative.
But see, sometimes you have to let things roll off your shoulders, man.
I have for months.
That's what I'm saying.
But when does it come to a head?
And I'm fine with that. I'm good with that. All right. If you feel like you have to address every little comment or whatever, then
not
that's
every
you.
little comment.
Then that's you.
Not every little
comment. And my
comment.
simple thing is, I said it. I said what I said, and I ain't taking it back.
You should.
And if somebody don't like it, well, guess where you can go.
It's not that it's not that I don't like it, but you got to understand, David, that changes.
I'm not going to have two best friends that stand there and argue and bicker with each other and ruin my day.
Who was the other best friend, though?
Really?
Who was the other one? Because I was defending this man.
It's all of you.
Oh, okay. All right.
So many. Okay. That's my point. I've met so many amazing people playing paintball, and every time I open Facebook, it's shit talking.
Well, you should be telling the motherfuckers who doing the shit talking to shut the fuck up and leave me the fuck alone. You know what I mean? Because it's basically anybody that knows me, knows me. I don't do the shit talking on Facebook. That's one thing I never done. I don't shit talk nobody. I don't talk about how bad I'm gonna whoop somebody's ass. I don't go behind people's back when doing recruiting, trying to backstab motherfuckers. Like, hey, well, just tell them.
And you're right.
Not only that, Dewan,
Let him finish. Let me
finish this. I don't go behind people's backs and be like, hey, come play for me. You know I already signed up for this side. Well, he don't know that. Just tell him, you already committed to me. I call that bullshit. You get what I'm saying? See, but people don't understand. Listen, people don't understand and see the shit that be going on. When a motherfucker come to me and ask me for something or to do anything paintball related or non-paintball related, the word come out of my mouth is never fucking no. And that goes to any fucking body. I don't even gotta fucking know you. And for motherfuckers to be doing the backstabbing shit that they be fucking doing, they want to get cussed the fuck out. Now, I didn't even see some of the shit that was being played or being said. Matt caught the shit and he addressed it. You know what I mean? So then he caught backlash for addressing some shit that was said about me or some shit that was done to me. He was being a friend to me. You see what I'm saying? Because he caught it. I don't fuck with nobody in paintball in any disrespectful way. I treat everybody with fucking respect. And for people to be blatantly disrespectful and doing the dumb shit they be fucking doing, if they got cussed the fuck out, oh fucking well.
And the thing about it,
I can understand if I was some old slimy, grimy ass motherfucker out here backstabbing, cutting corners with motherfuckers, and then for motherfucker to talk shit, okay, then I deserve that. You get what I'm saying? But if I done nothing to deserve the shit that people are saying, what the fuck if he defending me? Why people got a fucking bone up their ass because he said something about it? And he got drug into the same shit too. Like I said, but people on the outside looking in and don't understand the situation, like you said, you can see it 1,000 ways until you understand what the fuck is going on. You know what I mean? I keep my mouth shut because I know my attitude. At times I can say something to a motherfucker and the wrong shit fly off. I fuck around, punch him in the motherfucking mouth. I've done it before, and I ain't trying to do that shit no more.
Which is why I play the buffer. But I can only
you do one.
No, what? No, I'm just saying because you know what I mean. I'm saying people are making this shit bigger than what the fuck it is. It was said, it was done, it's fucking over with. Point fucking blank, it's over with. You know what I mean? It's over with.
So let's let it be that.
It's been over with. It's been over with. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, Because at the end of the day, I don't give a fuck what nan motherfucker out here got to say about me in this sport because I'm going to keep doing what the fuck I've been doing.
In the sport, though, but you're not going to attack me. I don't give a fuck what you say about me. Listen, I don't give a fuck if you say all day long, Guru trash. Guru don't do shit on the field. Guru suck. Guru don't leave the motherfucking mutant tent. You fucking right I don't. But guess what? You ain't going to talk about me as a person, about my ability to do said thing, which is what you didn't catch, David. It wasn't about, it got beyond the field. It was it was a character thing and a personal thing. It wasn't about the field.
There's a whole lot that Dewan just touched on that I wasn't a part of. There's a whole lot that you keep talking about that I wasn't a part of. But I'm getting pissed because whether it's you guys that I'm watching or whether it's the next guy, it's people that live down the street talking about paintball and they bitching and they arguing. That was my point.
And argue. Motherfuckers gonna be that's paintball. You know what I mean? Welcome to social media.
All right, then I'm out. I'm out. It was a good time playing with you, Dewan. If that's the way that you feel about it, that it has to be a bunch of fucking drama, then I don't want to play with you. Because that's what you're telling me. You're telling me it has to be a bunch of fucking drama. It don't have to be a bunch of drama. I play up.
Listen to me.
I show up. I shoot people in the head.
Listen to me what I'm getting ready to say to you. Listen, brother, I love you. We had fun playing together, but if you feel that way, then fuck it. Like you just sat here blatantly and downplayed and said to me, there's 1,000 motherfucking other places we can play paintball at. Basically telling me, motherfucker, you ain't the only show in town. So if you feel that way, go. I love you, but go.
No. Y'all been cool. Y'all been cool too long. Y'all been cool too long.
See you, Dewan.
Y'all been cool too long.
Shit, I'm not gonna sit here begging motherfucker to play for me. You know what I mean? I'm not that guy.
What?
All right.
What the fuck just happened
here? No, because he sat here and kept downplay shit. Like there's 1,000 motherfucking ways to go play paintball. Go fucking play, dude. Anybody asked you to come travel and follow me across the country and play fucking paintball? I ain't asked you to do this shit. You did that shit on your own fucking accord.
Stop the one. Wrap this up, Mike.
Yeah, all right. Wow. Shit. We will catch up with y'all again next week.
Later?
Tomorrow? So Wednesday did carry over. We love y'all. All 32 of y'all.
Six.
We love y'all.
6 motherfuckers. Oh, it's 32 now. My bad. 32. All 32 that fuck with us.
Hey,
we
love
fuck
y'all.
with you. Again.
That's where it is. Again, next week. Wow.
Just don't forget who you fucking with when stepping on hollow ground.